NFL on CBS takes us to the Kingdome in Seattle, a desperation game. The Kansas City Chiefs against the Seattle Seahawks. The standings in the AFC West, both teams at 500 as they hit the midway point of the 1998 regular season. But the more telling stat, what these teams have done recently. The Chiefs have dropped 3 in a row. Seattle has lost 4 of its last 5. Hi everybody, Ian Eagle along with Mark May. It's rather simple. After today, one of these two teams will still be in the playoff hunt. The other will have dug itself a very deep hole. Let's start with Kansas City. Mark, Elvis Grbac, starting quarterback, has not won since he's returned from the shoulder injury. Rich Ganon, a very popular man these days in Kansas City.
Well, and if you look at the record, it's very simple who should be the starter. As a player with the Washington Redskins, you want to go with a hot hand and the guy that will help you win. But Marty Schottenheimer is committed to sticking with Elvis Grbac.
And we can't over-dramatize this point with the Seattle Seahawks. This is as crucial as they come for Dennis Erickson, the head coach.
And it's the biggest game of Dennis Erickson's career. He must win this game to get over the top. This team has to get to the playoffs. The owner, Paul Allen, the billionaire, has committed millions in free agency. He wants a winner, and he wants it this year.
He's lost 7 straight to the Chiefs. We'll come back. The opening kickoff. Seahawks and Chiefs from Seattle on CBS. The second and final meeting of the season for these two teams. Marty Schottenheimer, his 10th year as the head coach for Kansas City, has had a great deal of success against Seattle. He's coached 12 straight teams to winning records. Right now his club is 4-4. The all-time series 41st meeting, Chiefs have dominated. They've won the last 7 in a row. Schottenheimer's team has won the toss. They will receive. Todd Peterson will kick it off for Seattle. Tamarik Vanover is injured, a shoulder problem, so Joe Horn gets the duties on special teams. And we're underway from the Kingdome. A couple of teams trying to stay in the wild card hunt. From the 5, this is Horn. And stopped at the 23. 18-yard kickoff. The Kansas City offense is led by Elvis Grbac, still looking for his first win since coming back from the shoulder injury. He's 0-3. Offensive line, Criswell, Parker, Grunhard, Shields, and Riley. Big matchup for the rookie at right tackle against Michael Sinclair. Backs and receivers, Andre Rison shut out last week in a loss to the New York Jets. Tony Gonzalez, the team's leading receiver. On first down, give to Bennett. He's got a hole. And a first down to open up play. First play from scrimmage. Jay Bellamy making the stop, the strong safety. 11-yard pickup on first down. The Seattle defense, they lead the AFC in sacks this season. The defensive line, Michael Sinclair, top man in the conference with 9 sacks. The linebackers, Darren Smith, returns after sitting out with a sprained ankle last week. And in the secondary, Sean Springs, a standout in his second year. On a 1st and 10, Grbac puts it in the air for the first time. Dump off for Bennett. Chad Brown, the tackle. Brown had some comments following last week's loss to Oakland.
He's led this team in tackles, Ian, and he's the leader of this defense. He hustles and gets to the ball, and whether it's on or off the field, Chad Brown will make a statement with his impact on the field or his comments off the field, and his comments where everybody has to pick it up from the top down, starting with Dennis Erickson.
And he did not take back those comments when we spoke with him on Friday. He said, hey, I still believe them. After a pickup of 2 on first down, keep it on the ground. Bennett barreling his way across the 45-yard line, and a 9-yard gain to give Kansas City another first down. Sean Springs made the tackle coming out of the secondary.
And this is great blocking in the middle by Tim Grunhard, the center, and Will Shields, the right guard, Pro Bowlers. But this is the way Marty Schottenheimer wants to attack a defense. He wants to pound the football, and that's the first and foremost thing, control the line of scrimmage up front.
3 plays thus far from scrimmage. All have been to Donnell Bennett. 2 on the ground, 1 through the air. Grbac throwing. Has an open man into Seattle territory. Sean Springs combining with Dean Wells. as Elvis Gerback showing some confidence, making the connection to Andre Rison.
When you're successful against the run, you can go to the pass on first down. Little play action, Elvis sits in the pocket, he stands tall and fires the ball in between the defenders downfield for the first down. Talking to Jimmy Ray, the offensive coordinator, they want to get Elvis in sync early to get him some easy passes to build his confidence.
He does have talented receivers to work with, Rison and Derek Alexander. On first down, Bennett. Not much room to run as he got back to the line of scrimmage. Jay Bellamy firing out. He's been active early on.
Michael Sinclair is going against the rookie Victor Rowley, but Victor Rowley shut Michael Sinclair out in their first meeting this year. Here's the big guy in a cutoff block. He's trying to go up on Sinclair, getting a push on him. He's got his feet moving, got a little hold there. Not a bad job by a rookie against the guy that leads the AFC in sacks.
Sixth play of the drive. Michael Sinclair called a players-only meeting earlier this week. We'll talk more about that as we continue along this afternoon. Rashawn Sheehy has checked in for Bennett. On a 2nd and 10, Gerback over the middle. And he's got his tight end, Tony Gonzalez, wrapped up by Dean Wells. Gonzalez, who is the leading receiver for this Kansas City team, but he's had some big drops this year.
And he's had some problems concentrating, holding on the ball, but they have to get the ball to Tony Gonzalez to have success on offense. He just creates mismatches against the defense because of his size, because of his speed. He's a 250-pounder that runs like a wide receiver, but blocks like an offensive tackle.
Gerback thus far 3 of 3 throwing the football, 21 yards. Kansas City facing a 3rd and 3 from the 36. In motion, Alexander. Some movement. Gerback. Plenty of time and underthrows the intended receiver. Andre Rison was there, but Gerback couldn't get it to him. 4th down for the Chiefs.
The offensive line gave him tremendous protection up front. He was trying to go deep to Derek Alexander, but great coverage on the play by Willie Williams. He's looking deep. Look at him look deep. He tries to dump it off. Nothing there. Looking deep. Can't force it downfield, so he tries to throw it to his 3rd look off, Andre Rison, but he's covered magnificently on defense by Darren Smith.
Pete Stoyanovich will try a long field goal, 54 yards, his longest of the season, 48. His career long, 59. Here's the kick. It's good. Stoyanovich drills it from long range. A 53-yarder for Pete Stoyanovich, and Kansas City takes an early lead. With 10:53 to play in the first quarter, Pete Stoyanovich, his 17th career field goal of 50 or more yards. That was a 53-yard hoop. An 8-play drive, taking up 4 minutes and 7 seconds off the clock.
And the thing about Stoyanovich, he can kick in bad weather, which he's had to this year a couple of times, but he can also kick off the turf and domes. And he's Mr. Consistency, and you've got to have a great kicker if you're going to make a playoff run. And Stoyanovich is one of the best.
Stoyanovich will kick it off with Amon Green and Kerry Joseph deep for Seattle. Seahawks will have their first possession. End over end, it's a short kick. Green will take it from the 14. Amon Green with a cut. And ahead to the 23. Warren Moon, his 200th career start at quarterback. Only 2 players have started more since the AFL-NFL merger, and that's Elway and Marino. Offensive line, the big change comes at center. Kevin Glover, the perennial Pro Bowler, a pinched nerve in his back, so Chris Gray, the backup, steps forward. Ricky Waters looking for his first 100-yard game on the ground since week 3. Joey Galloway, his longest reception last week, 8 yards. 1st and 10 from the 23. Moon will throw on first down. Intercepted. Flag comes down. Anthony Davis with the pick. Warren Moon telegraphing that pass. Davis with a 17-yard return. And we'll see what the marker means.
Regardless of this call, Warren Moon did not want to start the game off like this. Whether it goes against Kansas City, he does not want to start a game like
Illegal
this.
contact, number 40 on the defense, be a 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
At this point, Warren Moon feels very fortunate because they started off the game with an interception. He got one back, but there's a situation in the back of his mind. He has to think now, am I forcing it right now, or can I just wait on things? But on the upper left, right here, it's a great interception, but you can see the interference downfield, and you can see right there he's got his hands on the wide receiver, but a great interception on the outside. That's fantastic athletic ability by Davis.
The call works against James Hasty. And you're right, Moon gets a second chance on a 1st and 10 from the 28. The pitch. Ricky Waters trying to spin his way ahead and does. Waters remaining on his feet to the 35-yard line, 8-yard gain. John Browning the tackle. The Kansas City defense, Browning on that defensive line along with Tom Bart and Chester McLaughlin. Noticeably absent Derek Thomas, who now plays in passing situations. Leslie O'Neal takes his place in that Falcons spot. And the secondary, no Dale Carter, injured forearm, so Mark McMillan, all 5'7" of him, replaces Carter in the lineup at corner. On second down, looking to break one, Ricky Waters. Good open field stop by Reggie Tongue, or that could have been a big game.
And Ricky Waters is a man on a mission. 2 plays, 2 runs. They can't bring him down with an arm tackle. He's running through tacklers. He's a man on a mission this afternoon. He's getting good blocking in the interior and the exterior of the offensive line. But 2 rushes, 16 yards. That's the way Ricky Waters wants to start the game off.
And another first down for the Seahawks. 1st and 10 from the 44. They trail 3-0. Their first possession. Moon, timing pattern. Incomplete. Looking for Joey Galloway. Hasty had the coverage.
James Hasty's going to mirror Joey Galloway all afternoon because Dale Carter's out injured. So wherever he goes, he's going to be in his hip pocket. Good move by Galloway here. Now his other move right here. This is where he gets around him. If the ball's thrown where it should be, that's going to be a reception.
And Galloway told us earlier this week he would rather go against Dale Carter because he's accustomed to it.
Now he's got to study more film against Hasty because he hasn't had a chance to go against James Hasty, but that's going to be a heck of a matchup that afternoon.
Seattle going with 3 receivers, 2 in the backfield. On a 2nd and 10. Moon running it himself. Modest gain, maybe 1, as Derek Thomas came over to make the stop.
Well, obviously, this is a miscommunication between Ricky Waters and Warren Moon, and it's a busted play. And Warren's going to take the snap. He's going to look right here to hand it off to Ricky Waters. Ricky Waters went the wrong way. The fullback went through the hole first, so Warren turns around and takes it up himself, gets back to the line of scrimmage. Smart veteran play, but they've got to have better communication to that.
Fourier set up as an H-back. And the busted play, Seattle coaching staff looking from above. Steve Broussard is checked in for the Seahawks. Play clock winding down. Low snap. Moon on 3rd and long. Able to get it off. Caught by Pritchard. First down, Seattle. Coverage from Mark McMillan, and Warren Moon making something happen with a 12-yard hookup.
And I'll tell you what, Ian, they show the blitz right here. The snap is low. Warren Moon, the seasoned veteran, sticks with it. Gets good blocking up front, but slides along. Look at the route, the crossing pattern. Frees up Pritchard right here. Great play by Warren Moon. Pritchard did a good job of running his route and staying with it, but Warren Moon made the play go by getting that low snap, staying in the pocket, dodging a rush, and completing the pass.
1st and 10, just outside the 44 of Kansas City. Both offensive units moving the football. Moon, incomplete. He was trying to get the football to Pritchard again, and McMillan was there.
Seems like Seattle right off the bat, they want to take their shots at Mark McMillan. He's not an every down player. His nickname's Mighty Mouse because he's 5'7", 148 pounds, but he plays like a 6-foot tall cornerback. Very aggressive for a small guy, gets great leverage, but they've got the height advantage with Mike Pritchard against them. They want to go after that and try to attack that, but they'd love to get Joey Galloway one-on-one with Mark McMillan.
McMillan normally plays in the nickel, but with the injury to Carter, he has to step forward in the starting lineup. 2nd and 10, Moon underneath coverage. Ricky Waters sprawled out as he gets ahead. A first down for Seattle.
Seattle wanted to spread this offense out so they could spread the defense out. There's no back in the backfield. Warren Moon's got 5 wide receivers. Ricky Waters is going to be out there. Look at that. No one in the backfield. Ricky Waters is out to the outside. Warren Moon's going to take the shotgun snap, throw a great pattern to Ricky Waters, but when you spread the defense out like that, you don't have enough defenders to cover when you go man-to-man, and Ricky Waters just turns, squats, gets a reception, first down Seattle.
Blades in as a third receiver. Up the middle it goes for Waters. Ricky Waters has been effective carrying the football and coming out of the backfield. Leslie O'Neal making the tackle after a 7-yard gain on first down.
Now, I noticed some question about Ricky Waters. If he was going to even play this game, had some fluid in his knee, had a bruised thigh, it all went to his knee. They had to stick a needle in his knee. I've had that done before. It's not a lot of fun where they drain the fluid out. Came back Thursday, said he felt 100% better, and he's playing like a maniac this afternoon.
That's not a lot of fun, huh?
Not a lot.
You're breaking news here. Waters, though, is having a lot of fun running the football. Derek Thomas wrapping him up. Close to the 20-yard line. Another Seattle first down.
I talked to offensive coordinator Bob Rakowski for the Seattle Seahawks. He told me they wanted to get the ball in Ricky Waters' hands where they're feeding him. And Ricky Waters gets great blocking up front. The offensive line gets a surge, but he cuts it back right there behind the left guard and just runs over some of the defenders in there and pushes the ball forward for the first down. 4 runs today, 27 yards. Bob Rakowski said they're going to feed Ricky Waters today. They want him to touch the ball 25 times plus.
2 tight end set. Carlester Crumpler is in. Move. Throw it to the end zone. Flag comes down. Galloway was covered by Hasty.
And Joey Galloway said he wanted to go against Dale Carter. Dale Carter's out of Houston, but it's going from one Pro Bowl to another Pro Bowl. But that's the second penalty on James Hasty. This is going to be a big call, and they're going to get the ball in great field position. But Joey Galloway, such great breakaway speed. And Warren Moon's going to see that defense, and when he gets a step on anybody, he's throwing the ball to Joey Galloway.
Pass interference, number 40, defense. Automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
Our referee, Bill Carollo.
There's Hasty, there's Galloway. They're going to go one-on-one. They're going to fight for the ball. But watch, when Galloway makes his burst, he takes off. He's like shot out of a gun right there, gets position and gets by him. Right there, Hasty gives him a little nudge and tries to pitch him out of bounds, but you can't do that.
First and goal from the 2. Play fake, move, throw it. Caught shy of the goal line by Deems May. The third tight end on this Seattle team, Wayne Simmons, making the stop. And they'll spot the football at the 1-yard line.
And in this situation, I don't know why you just don't give the ball to Ricky Waters. He would have scored on that play. He's been running like a madman, but here's a situation, rolling Warren Moon out of the pocket, putting pressure on the Kansas City defense, creating a new line of scrimmage and a new pocket area. Now Kansas City has to think that's going to stick in the back of the mind if Warren Moon's going to roll out or if he's going to sit in the pocket this afternoon.
Strong and Waters in the backfield. Pitch, Ricky Waters. He's in. Touchdown, Seattle. The Seahawks take the lead here in the first quarter.
And I call it the play before, give the ball to Ricky Waters. He wants it today. He had fantastic blocking on the left side. Walter Jones, Pete Kendall on the offensive line. James Fourier is out, Christian Fourier out there, but look at in motion right here. Here's Deems May. He's going to get a block. In the backfield, Max Strong's going to get a block, and James Hasty, there's no way you're going to tackle Ricky Waters. He just dished him off with a little forearm.
4th rushing touchdown of the season for Waters. Peterson on for the extra point. And the Seahawks now in front, 7-3. Both teams scoring on their first possession.
Be able to stay the entire day with Joey Galloway. We've got to keep an eye on that because he's already roasted him twice.
Seahawks have a 7-3 lead with 5:18 to play in the first quarter. Ricky Waters running it in from 1 yard away. An 11-play, 77-yard drive. And the Seahawks were given second life after an Anthony Davis interception. It was called back. Pass interference on Hasty. Joe Horn, the return man, spilled out at the 26-yard line. 20-yard return for Horn. Mike Kroll, the stop on special teams. Kansas City football when we come back to Seattle.
Nah, let's switch it to the left. Two hands. Nah. Dunk on him? Let's save it. Up. Here we go.
Turn the pizza around! It's stuffed crust, you eat it backwards! Carry on!
In case you forgot, you're supposed to eat stuffed crust backwards. With a ring of cheese baked right into the crust, it's the most fun you can have with the pizza. Right now, a large one topping is only $9.99. Pizza Hut, the best pizzas under one roof.
Would you like to work here?
I'm not housebroken.
If we don't get this job done, everybody's gone.
The biggest hit of 1998 is coming to video. Armageddon. Critics rave it's bigger than life. Total complete fun. Armageddon, rated PG-13. Own it on video Friday, November 13th.
Hey, who's gonna start the fire?
You know what? I hope we get snowed in.
Yeah, me too. That'd be great.
These are the days.
Yeah, definitely gonna try this new show.
Fetzer days. Enjoy the wine.
Ray's on an ego trip. All aboard! Is he ever coming back?
I'm not self-centered.
Raymond loves Raymond. An all-new episode, CBS Monday.
7-3 lead for Seattle. We are in the first quarter. Tomorrow on CBS, Ted Danson stars as a doctor who's not afraid to tell it like it is. Newsday calls his show the best new comedy of the year. Catch the new hit comedy, Becker, tomorrow night on CBS. Andre Rison, not on the field for Kansas City. He got hit in the head on their first possession, so Kevin Lockett replaces it. It is loud in the Kingdome. Play clock winding down. Gerback in some trouble, forced to roll out. Gerback throwing on the run, and it's intercepted. Springs has it. Stays on his feet. Sean Springs with the pick. And Elvis Gerback, a costly mistake on the sideline throw.
And that's a situation where the 12th man, the crowd here, takes over this game and helps the home team. It's a situation where Elvis Gerback, call timeout right here. Everyone's not in sync. The players cannot hear you because the fans are in the game. Here he tries to press the issue. Don't force the football. You're in bad field position. He forces it here. Sean Springs makes a great break on the ball, and he's off to the races. That's a great job by Sean Springs of staying with a wide receiver. But Elvis Gerback, take a timeout. Your team can't hear you. They didn't get off the line of scrimmage on sync. The Seattle defense is in your face, and turnovers are big for this team, particularly Kansas City. They've cost them immensely.
Fourth interception of the season for Springs. First and goal from the 6. Waters already has one touchdown. Puts the helmet down, drives himself ahead to the 3-yard line, and a flag comes down. A host of tacklers in on the play. Marty Schottenheimer talked about turnovers with us yesterday and penalties, and on cue.
Personal foul, face mask, number 50 on the defense. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down. Don't kick it.
That's Anthony Davis.
And that's just frustration on the defense right now, trying to take it out on the offense. But going back to that last play, that's a situation where you have to call timeout for Elvis Gerback. You're going to have the same situation the next time they get the ball. I guarantee you the fans will be on their feet screaming the next time the Kansas City offense gets the ball.
It's a helpless feeling for Gerback, who now has to watch his defense try to make some big plays near the goal line.
They've had a couple problems with shotgun snaps and almost fumble snaps between the center, Chris Gray, and Warren Moon.
3 tight end formation, first and goal just outside the 1. Inside handoff. Max Strong nearly spun his way into the end zone, and again, as Mark was just talking about, a new center, Chris Gray, playing for Kevin Glover. And you're right, there's been a bit of miscommunication.
And there's been about 3, but watch Warren Moon's hands right there. He's where he's supposed to be, but the ball's not getting up high enough. It's hitting Warren Moon's on the top of his hands where it should be all the way back on the palms of his hands. And if they don't get that situation rectified, that's going to cost them a turnover in this game.
Second and goal. Seahawks looking to add to their lead. Ricky Waters' second effort. Is he in? Touchdown. Waters ran into a brick wall and just kept churning the feet. And it gives his team another 6 on the board.
And I talked about a man on a mission, and that's Ricky Waters. He wants to prove to everybody he was worth the free agent money. He wants the ball. He wants his team to win. Watch him churn his feet. Matt Strong goes through the middle, gets a great block. Here he stopped on the 2-yard line, but he keeps turning and forcing himself and driving into the end zone. He would not be denied on that play.
5th rushing touchdown of the season for Waters. 2nd TD over the last minute and 44. Extra point from Peterson. Lots of action early, and it's 14-3 Seattle. Touchdowns for Ricky Waters. And Seattle with a 14-3 advantage on Kansas City. That after the Sean Springs interception from Elvis Gerback. Joe Horn from the 7. Flag comes down, as does Horn as he crosses the 25 to the 27. A 20-yard run back. Tackle on special teams made by Kerry Joseph. And the penalty will work against Kansas City.
Number 98 on the return team via 10-yard penalty. First down. Timeout.
Eric Hicks called on the penalty. Kansas City will look to get something going offensively when we return after this. 4 penalties. And the Chiefs trail Seattle 14-3. We are still in the first quarter. This crowd has been juiced up. Rashawn Sheehy, rookie out of Washington, runs into Cortez Kennedy, making the stop. Pickup of a yard, maybe a yard and a half on first down. Cortez Kennedy getting back to the style of play he was once accustomed to. He broke his ankle last November. One of just 3 starters remaining from the team that Dennis Erickson inherited when he took over the job as head coach 4 years ago. 3 wide receiver look. Dump it off to Kimball Anders. Up to the 20-yard line, shy of a first down. Now for an NFL Today report, let's go to Jim Nantz in New York.
All right, Ian, the Jets and the Bills. The Bills strike first with a field goal, but back comes New York. Testaverde to Johnson. 7-3 Jets. Second quarter, back to you.
Backup quarterback in New York, Vinny Testaverde. Will we see the backup quarterback here today for Kansas City, Rich Ganon? Gerback remains in there. 3rd and 4. Trying to get the first down on the ground. Fumbling the football. Kimball Anders lost it. And they'll call it down. Willie Williams scooped it up and tried to scoot ahead for a touchdown to no avail.
That's going to be a close mark on 3rd down, but I was surprised they didn't go with the pass. You've got Pete Gonzalez, which they have mismatch problems where no one can cover him. Dump the ball to that big tight end in Gonzalez, but they force it up the middle with a big offensive line. It's close enough for a measurement.
Clock is stopped with 2:01 left in the first. Marty Schottenheimer and Dennis Erickson. Pressure on both of these men, more so on Erickson. The feeling is that Schottenheimer probably would not lose his job this season. And Schottenheimer's team comes up short. Some feel if Erickson's club did not perform well here today and get a victory, he might not have a job tomorrow.
Well, it's a problem with this team that they've got to respond. They've got a lot of free agents. They've got a lot of depth. They've got a lot of guys that they've drafted in the draft that are responding. This team has a lot of talent on it. They just have to turn it around and get it to go in the right direction, and they've got to win games. They've got to get that monkey off their back, and they've got to win at least 10 games.
Louis Aguiar to punt for Kansas City. And Joey Galloway is deep for Seattle. Did return a punt for a touchdown 2 weeks ago against San Diego. Takes a roll. And they'll spot the football at the 33-yard line. That's where Seattle will have it, 1st and 10. A 44-yard punt from Aguiar, no return.
Joe Horn on the outside. He's getting double teamed on the outside by Sean Springs. And Willie Williams, he gets a pop there, gets another pop there. They just manhandle him. That's a mugging. That's critical. And then another shot by Springs. They're not going to let him make a play today. They're going to double him on the outside and take him out of the equation.
And Joe Horn shaken up a bit following that special teams play. Seahawks from the 34. They lead it 14-3. Give to Ricky Waters. Gain of maybe half a yard on first down with time winding down here in the first quarter. This Kansas City team, 13-3 last season. Everybody just expecting that at some point they'll bust out of this slump, but it's been 3 losses in a row. They haven't lost 4 in a row since 1988.
Here's a situation that you can't expect, that you have to go out and perform, and you have to work at it. You've got to find a way to overcome your mistakes to bust out of this slump.
2 tight end set. Moon with the pocket collapsing. Will run and slide to the 41-yard line. 7-yard gain. Donnie Edwards was there to make sure it didn't go for any longer distance. And now a 3rd and 4 coming up.
Here's Warren Moon. They do a great job on the outside. The Kansas City defense of covering the wide receivers. He steps up, no one's there. He tries to make something out of nothing, and they don't want Warren Moon to run. He's still recovering from his cracked ribs that he suffered in the game earlier this season against the Kansas City Chiefs.
3 receivers. Broussard, the 3rd down back. Moon on a cross. Has it intercepted. James Hasty. After a couple of crucial errors earlier, Hasty trying to make up for it. And Warren Moon will not have the benefit of a penalty on this play. Hasty with his 3rd INT of the season.
And the pressure came from Donnie Edwards. Watch him right there on the blitz, forcing Warren Moon to throw this ball earlier than he wanted to, and he did not have the timing down with his wide receiver Joey Galloway. You credit the interception right here to James Hasty, but it was all Donnie Edwards getting to Warren Moon, getting in his face, and forcing Warren Moon to throw that ball early.
Great field position for the Kansas City offense, and Elvis Gerback. 1st and 10 at the Seattle 43. Alexander, the motion man. Play fake. Gerback, the deep drop. Dumps it to Kimball Anders. Out to the 37-yard line. They'll come up shy of a 1st down. Michael Sinclair and Dean Wells collaborating on the stop. Hasty getting congratulations on the sidelines. And that will be the final play of the first quarter. End of 1 at the Kingdome. It's 14-3. Seahawks will return after this message. The Kansas City offense getting some help from the defense. The pressure on Warren Moon and the subsequent interception from James Hasty. Casey has it, 2nd and 5 at the Seattle 38. First play of the second quarter. Ian Eagle along with Mark May from the Kingdome. Safety valve is Rashawn Sheehy. Caught by Chad Brown, and a 3rd down upcoming. Tomorrow on CBS, not only have the critics called Everybody Loves Raymond one of the 10 best shows of the year, they've also called it one of the 100 greatest shows of all time. Catch an all-new episode of Monday's #1 comedy tomorrow on CBS. 3rd and 5 as Andre Rison returns. He got hit in the head in the first quarter. Sat out a series. 3-receiver look. Up the middle. Kimball Anders able to get across the 35-yard line. And looks like he has 1st down yardage for Kansas City.
It was a nice press by the interior left side of the offensive line. And Marty Schottenheimer loves to run the ball on 3rd down. Even if it's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, he wants to get that push, control the clock, wants to score points. Right now he needs to play catch-up, but he still likes to control the line of scrimmage because he feels they have a system. In the 3rd and 4th quarter, we will wear you down on both sides of the ball.
We'll get a measurement. It will be very close. He didn't get it. So now this Seahawks crowd gaining a little bit of momentum as the defense made the play.
But here's a situation with the field position. You've got to go for it on 4th down. You've got to build something for your team and get that 1st down and leave confidence in that team out there, your offensive team. And, put in your jumbo package with the tight ends and fullback and just force it right down the Seattle Seahawks defense.
Just inches short. coming to their feet. Tony Richardson has checked in for Kansas City. Inside handoff. Richardson has the first down to the 30-yard line. Jay Bellamy, the tackle. And this drive continues.
You got to like Tony Richardson. Doesn't get a lot of carries, but they're either for touchdowns or first downs. And nice blocking up front, and he finds a little hole and drags a defender right there, the middle linebacker Dean Wells, and still gets the first down. That's a great job of picking your area between the tackles, finding that crease, then leaning forward and not stopping the legs. Keep moving them, and don't stop and get the first down.
First and 10 from the 30. Gerback pumps fake. He's got Popson to the 13-yard line. Ted Popson, just his 7th reception of the season, and it's a 17-yard pass play.
I'll tell you what, Ian, if Elvis Gerback can continue to play like this, he made the one bad mistake early with the crowd noise and rolled out and tried to force it. He's executing this offense in a magnificent fashion, moving the ball around, dumping it off to the backs outside, looking downfield with a pump fake, and then going right to somebody in the middle of the field. I mean, he's doing the job that Marty Schottenheimer, an offensive coordinator, Jimmy Ray wanted him to do this afternoon, is execute the offense and don't turn it over.
He's trying to be the leader of this offense now that Marcus Allen has gone on to CBS. Somebody has needed to step forward, and Gerback is trying to fill that role. It's not easy. Bennett engulfed at the 10-yard line by Cortez Kennedy. And you can be engulfed by that man.
No, that's not very difficult for the Tez to do, but I'll tell you what, you look at that play and the linebacker play, and Chad Brown able to stringing that play out, not letting the offensive push of the Kansas City Chiefs create a hole or a seam. They were stringing it out all the way to the sidelines, and the hustle by the inside guys like that, Cortez Kennedy getting to the sidelines to make the tackle.
2nd and 7. Twin receivers, Alexander and Risen, 2 tight ends. Gerback stepping up and throwing it nearly into the stands. Flag on the play. Dan Saliamua was providing pressure in the pocket. Chiefs picked up 4 quick penalties in that first quarter. They'll pick up another right now.
Elvis Gerback is hot. He is pointing to the official, and I don't know what he's saying, but I'm sure they're very unkind words.
Intentional grounding, number 11 on the offense, throwing the ball out of bounds. It'll be a 10-yard penalty and also loss of down, 3rd down.
Gerback inside the tackles when he made that pass, and the officials deemed it was intentional grounding.
Here's your tackles right there. Watch Elvis Gerback come back and throw the ball. Quarterbacks are taught to step up in the pocket. If they're not there in the red area, don't make a mistake. Throw the ball away. Get it out of there. I don't agree with that penalty. He's throwing the ball away. The wide receiver was under that. Obviously, he didn't want anybody to catch it. He did throw it into the stand.
So now a 3rd and 17. Gerback, quick throw through the hands of Risen, incomplete. So the Chiefs will have to settle for 3 if Pete Stoyanovich can convert.
And Andre Rison on the outside. Watch, he's going to make his hit, and it's a post move right here. He should catch that ball. 3 defenders are there. He heard footsteps because he knew he was going to get clobbered by the inside, but that ball's right in his hands. He needs to catch that ball and go up for it, and I know for sure Andre Rison's a heck of a basketball player. He can get off the ground a lot farther than that.
Rison did take a shot to the head in the first quarter. Don't know if that had any effect. 38-yard attempt for Stoyanovich. His 2nd field goal of the day. He hit one from 53, and now another 3 for the Chiefs. 14-6, Seattle in the 2nd.
normal business hours. Bye-bye.
Give your customers the help they need whenever they need it with a self-service website by IBM.
Arriving at last. From Saturn. The world's first three-door coupe. Why didn't anyone think of this before?
If you're a smoker and your sex life is not all it could be or should be, this week's 60 Minutes is one broadcast you can't afford to miss. Tonight.
14-6, Seattle in front. Relive the action from Sunday's games in CBS Sportsline's NFL Archive. Get complete recaps and analysis, stats and quotes from every game at cbs.sportsline.com. Kansas City will kick it off following the Stoyanovich field goal. Amon Green and Kerry Joseph back to return. Green from the 10. Taking it up the middle ahead to the 25-yard line. Seahawks have the lead in the second quarter from the Kingdome. Back after this. Seattle and Kansas City. Seahawks in front. 14-6. Warren Moon intercepted by James Hasty. Elvis Gerback picked off by Sean Springs. So one turnover apiece. The penalty situation. Kansas City with 5. Seattle yet to be penalized. First and 10 from the 25. Ricky Waters stumbles ahead for a gain of 1. This Kansas City defense held the New York Jets to 53 yards on 32 carries last week. Seattle has had some success running the football so far. Both of their touchdowns came on the ground.
Absolutely. Not only that, they held Curtis Martin to 1.4 per rush, and that's unlike Curtis Martin. But, you know, this defense has stepped it up. They made the change. They put Leslie O'Neal in for Derek Thomas because they wanted to beef up the defensive front, and he outweighs Derek by about 40 pounds. So it's been a positive for the Kansas City Chiefs defense.
Gain of 1, second and 9. Here come the Chiefs. Move. Ricky Waters had an opportunity. Got to bring it in first. Derek Thomas was pressuring the quarterback. It'll be 3rd and 9.
And not only pressure, watch a smack. Derek Thomas is going to come from the outside. They come with a blitz also in the middle by Jerome Woods. It's picked up, and look at Derek Thomas hitting Warren Moon. I mean, that's a heck of a pop. You know, for Warren Moon, he's going to be 42 years old in 10 days. For him to stick in there and perform at the level that he's performed at the last few years and to take hits like that and coming off the broken ribs, that's incredible.
3 receivers. 3rd and 9 from the 26. Chiefs crowding the line of scrimmage. This play never gets off. Flags thrown.
It's going to be movement by the offensive line. They showed blitz by Kansas City, and someone jumped in there.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 68, offense. 5-yard penalty, replay 3rd down.
Brian Habib, first penalty of the day for Seattle.
And that's a situation where you see the blitz in front of you. As being an old offensive lineman, you want to get a jump on it because those guys are trying to time it out of the secondary and the linebackers. And what you want to do, look at the guys jump up there for Kansas City, and you get a little nervous in there, and you've got to stay patient. But he jumped a little bit early, and he was flagged on the play.
Old being the operative word here.
A little bit older.
Well, Warren Moon's older than you.
Hey, the older I get, the better I was.
That's what they all say. 3rd and 14. Christian Fourier. As he crossed the 25-yard line, well short of a first down. 7-yard pass play. Jerome Woods combining with Donnie Edwards on the stop. Play was whistled dead before Edwards could scoop up the loose ball. And Seattle forced to punt. We'll see Jeff Fiegels for the first time.
You know, it almost seems like the Kansas City defense is getting better and better throughout the game. And they gave up some early scores, one was on a turnover, but looking in the trenches, these guys are really forcing the issue up front, and they're getting after the quarterback. Here's Tom Barnt right here, and he's going to take Brian Habib right into the center. They're going to run a cross draw. Here he goes. John Browning comes on a delayed hit right there. What they're doing is they're running stunts between nose tackle and end, and NT stunt, and that's how they're pressuring quarterback Warren Moon. And, you know, here's a look at how he lost the ball. He's trying to get extra yardage right there. That's a fumble. Right there. That ball was out of there before he hit the ground.
Play was whistled dead.
We're in Seattle.
Oh, you're so cynical. So cynical. Fiegel's the punt. Kevin Lockett replacing Vanover, waiting for the return. Backpedals, and then forced out of bounds. Lockett showing some courage not to call the fair catch signal. 46-yard punt, 2-yard return. 14-6 Seattle.
The new Saturn Coupe has been conveniently redesigned, so it's easier for your friends to get in. The world's first 3-door coupe from Saturn. Why didn't anyone think of this before?
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Fortunately, there's Nasonex nasal spray, an effective nasal allergy prescription medicine taken once a day that relieves sneezing, itchy runny nose, and congestion, indoors and out. Now that's wonderful. Nasonex, what good days are like every day. The most common side effects were headache, viral infection, sore throat, nosebleeds, and coughing.
There are other ways to get to work, but nah.
I'm Dave Zott of the Kansas City Chiefs. When you give your support, you show that you care. The NFL, the United Way, and you, the power of teamwork.
The Kingdome sold out. Seahawks lead the Chiefs 14-6 in the second quarter. Tomorrow, it's Outtake Monday on CBS. Catch all new episodes of your favorite Monday comedies: Cosby, King of Queens, Everybody Loves Raymond, and Becker, starring Ted Danson. Plus, all night long, see the stars flub up in their most hilarious outtakes ever. That's tomorrow, right here on CBS. Fortunately, we're not bringing you Outtake Sunday with all of Mark May's flub throughout the season. That would extend into Monday, of course.
The afternoon's young. Just remember that.
14-6, Seattle in front. Chiefs with the football. Over the middle, Derek Alexander creating after the catch. And ahead to the 45-yard line, 17-yard hookup. Gerback to Alexander, Jay Bellamy the tackle.
And Derek Alexander's really picked it up the last 3 games. 7 receptions for 65 yards and a touchdown, and that's more than he had in the first few games of the season. But here's Elvis Gerback. Great blocking right in the middle by Kimball Anders, picking up the blitz. But Derek Alexander, he's been the go-to guy in the offense. When they need a spark, they've been going to Derek Alexander the last 3 weeks. And, hey, these guys know each other. They're college teammates at Michigan.
Good chemistry between the two. Play action. Gerback under some heat and brought down. Michael Sinclair. His 10th sack of the season. He's hit double figures and he leads the AFC.
And that's just pure hustle and determination. When Michael Sinclair comes off the corner, he's going to watch quarterback Elvis Gerback step up, but watch the closing speed on Michael Sinclair. He's at the top of the screen. This is nothing but pure hustle. Goes through the tight end, goes through the tackle. Watch when Elvis, look at that guy come like a missile. That's a defensive end. We talked to him the other day, and he said, this is the week I'm bringing it up to another level. We've got to win this week, and I'm going to rise to the occasion, and I'm not afraid to stand up and say, watch me, because I'm going to be the player to make plays.
Back-to-back Pro Bowl appearances for Sinclair. He had 12 sacks last season, and Kansas City has called a timeout. 30-second timeout. We've been alerted of that. Talking about Sinclair, he called the players-only meeting earlier this week, and in your experience, how effective are those? We hear about that, But how effective are they really, and do they actually pay dividends on Sundays?
I'll tell you what, with the Redskins, we had a few of them over the years. The first one's the most important because if you're not playing well as a team, it's time to clear the air. If you've got a beef or a gripe at a coach or a player, you can point a finger and say, I don't like this. This is a problem. Let's get it corrected. But the other player will stand up and say the same thing, but at least it gets it off everybody's chest. Everybody can come together at the end of the meeting, which the Seahawks did, and move on from there and refocus and reload for the rest of the season. And right now, the Seahawks team is a different team that we had a few weeks ago against the San Diego Chargers.
Sinclair really made some interesting points, including the fact that early in his career, first or second year, he always figured, oh, it's bad now, but it'll get better. I have plenty of time. Well, he's now running out of time. He's in his 8th year. He wants this to happen now. Gerback fires a pass into Alexander, getting up off the turf following the catch. He will be called down there after the 12-yard pass. And a first down for Kansas City.
Derek Alexander is on the far outside. He's going to make his plant right there, turn, but Elvis Gerback puts this ball where no one else but Alexander can get the ball. That's a great job of forcing the issue, but good protection up front. Look at the offensive line, allowing Elvis Gerback to step up and throw. If a quarterback can see and has great vision, he can see through those tunnels. If there's not arms and hands in front of his face, he can throw the ball vertically downfield.
Bam Morris checks in for the first time for the Chiefs, and he'll get the call. Morris remaining on his feet and trying to stick the ball ahead to the 40-yard line. Morris acquired in a trade with the Chicago Bears, now playing for his 4th team in 5 years. He's played with some traditional powerhouses. You mentioned Pittsburgh and Chicago, now Kansas City. Did play with Baltimore, but a lot of tradition in the uniforms that he has put on through the years.
Absolutely, but this is the first time in his career he's been in a West Coast offense. And it took him a while to get comfortable with this offense, but the players around him, the supporting players, the Kimball Andrews, they helped him out with the offense, and he feels much more comfortable now.
Anders in the backfield. Gonzalez the motion man. Flags come down. Anders makes the catch, but this play whistled dead. Penalties and turnovers. That's the theme that Marty Schottenheimer kept punching home.
Full start. Number 69 offense. 5-yard penalty. Remaining second down.
Left tackle Jeff Criswell.
And this is a guy that's in his 11th year, and this is a situation where all it is concentration, and he should know better. He's played here at least 10 times in his career that he's got to watch the ball. What the offense is doing now is they're looking at the ball. If you're a tackle, you're looking inside. You want to see that movement before you go. He just jumped a little bit early, but the Kansas City offense, they're going on go counts and silent snap counts. That's when they're looking at that ball. When it moves, you move.
6 penalties. It's cost the Chiefs 52 yards. Sheehy stumbles ahead to the 41-yard line. Dean Wells making the tackle, getting back some of the yardage that they lost after the penalty. It'll be 3rd and 7 coming up for the Chiefs.
And when we talked to Marty Schottenheimer yesterday, he said he wanted to get Rashawn Sheehy involved in the offense. We need to find somebody that can give us a spark. With his speed and his athletic ability, they wanted to give him a shot to see if he can break something, make something happen for this offense. But I still think they should use Bam Morris a little bit more. He's got 3 touches thus far this afternoon, and they're going to get the ball in Rashawn Sheehy's hands, but I like Bam Morris touching that football.
3 receivers. Here come the Seahawks. Gerback throws over the head of Lockett, incomplete. And a flag down. Against Seattle.
And that's one of those calls where you got to let the guys fight for the ball and play for the ball. It gets to a situation where you see players out there arguing enough about a call, they just don't agree with it.
Pass interference, number 20 defense, automatic first down.
How many players actually agree with calls when they work against them?
I always did. The officiating crew always did an outstanding job when I played, and I always told them that after the game.
The older you get, the more senile you get, because you don't remember what happened. Jay Bellamy called on the play. Bam Morris in the backfield. Another flag. Morris down after a gain of maybe a yard. Now we're seeing markers play after play after play. Dan Saliamua making the tackle.
Snap, false start, number 69 offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Looks like Jeff Criswell wants to have a little chat with Bill Carollo.
And he's not happy with that call, and he can't hear on the outside, and it's so difficult for a tackle because you're so far away from the quarterback, and you really can't hear his cadence, so you have to look inside, and right there, that is a little move. All it takes is a little flinch, and they're going to flag you on it. Doesn't seem fair, but it does happen in there, and Jeff Criswell has to concentrate. He's got to look at the ball, and he needs help from the guys inside. When that ball's moved, he's got to look at that football.
Back it up, a 1st and 15. And Kansas City takes a timeout. 1 remaining. 6:55 left. First half. It's 14-6. Seattle.
This is a world only a few know well. A world of risk and uncertainty.
CBS Outtake Monday begins with outstanding episodes of Cosby on the new hit comedy The King of Queens.
Oh, fancy.
Then the truth is out about Raymond.
I'm not self-centered.
And Ted Danson is Dr. John Becker in the most outspoken new series of the year.
I don't like to put all these chemicals in my body. Clearly, it's a temple.
Plus, see the stars of CBS comedy and outrageous outtakes.
I enlisted.
It all happens on CBS Outtake Monday.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by First Union, your guide to the financial world, and by Stanley. Make something great.
The Kingdome, one of the loudest places to play in the NFL. It just harnesses the noise. And we've got the meter out to keep track of the decibel level. It's hit 90. It's going to go way over that. It can't even measure the noise here.
It stopped at 90.
1st and 15. Gerbeck airing it out to the sideline and incomplete. Risen one-on-one with Sean Springs.
And that's a good matchup on the outside. Sean Springs and Andre Rison. And I'll tell you what, it's youth against age and experience, but Sean Springs has done a magnificent job the entire season. He's not playing like a second-year player. Dropping back into coverage here. Watch him break on the ball. Right there. I mean, he's going to be in Andre's hip pocket the entire afternoon. When he makes a move, Sean Springs will break on the ball and make a move, and that's great coverage by a young defensive cornerback.
Double tight end set for KC. Kimball Anders in the backfield. Gerbeck. Good precision offensively as he makes the hookup with Andre Rison on the sideline. Chiefs will still face a 3rd down.
That was a nice out pattern by Andre Rison, a good timing pattern between quarterback Elvis Gerbeck and Andre Rison. Nice protection up front. Rison's 2nd catch for 21 yards, but they need protection like they got on that play, and they've got to go to the timing routes, because if you try to read too many things off this defense, they'll cover you and they'll blitz you. They won't give you time, so throw those timing patterns. Throw it before he makes his break, and that ball will be there, and that's the way to put pressure on the defense. They're so difficult to defend the timing patterns.
Seahawks in their nickel defense, 3rd and 6 from the 31. Gerbeck, a deep drop. He's in big trouble and thrown down. Flag on the play as Chad Brown tossed him to the turf.
And that's going to come back. It'll be negated. There's holding in the secondary of the Seattle Seahawks. But a great rush by Chad Brown. He wanted to get to the quarterback and fought through everything to get there and made a great play, but all for naught.
Chad Brown quoted as saying that he can't be around losers.
Penalty from the previous spot, automatic 1st down.
Willie Williams called on the penalty. Brown also added, following the game last week, that everybody on this team is accountable from Coach Erickson on down. And it's rare that a player mentions the coach in any vein.
Absolutely. And the thing about it is, we asked him, do you want to detract that comment? He said no. He said, I'm staying with the comment. I believe it, and I'm frustrated by it, and I'm still frustrated by what's going on.
But he did say he's ready to put it behind him and get some victories. Bennett got ahead to the 25-yard line, pickup of a yard and a half with time trickling away here in the second quarter. Brown making the tackle. Under 6 minutes to play, first half. 14-6. Seahawks have the lead. Kansas City driving.
It's one great thing about this game. We're getting excellent effort by both sides because both teams realize what a pivotal game this is for this season.
Ninth play of the drive. Gerback stepping forward to the flat. Kimball Anders, and another flag. Jay Bellamy making the tackle.
You talk about laying it out on the line. Elvis Gerback took a whack on that play by Michael Sinclair, but Michael Sinclair was breathing down his neck right in his face, and Elvis Gerback had the presence to release the ball for a completion.
Pass interference, number 88, offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
One step forward, two steps back. Tony Gonzalez gets called for the penalty.
And penalties are killing this team. And there's Sinclair up there, but keep an eye on him. He's not going to give up. Elvis Gerback will set back in the pocket, and when he moves to the right and steps up, watch right here. Sinclair's going to drill him right in his face, but Elvis Gerback releases that ball for a completion. That's great presence by the quarterback.
8th penalty on the Chiefs. And that season total adding up as we go along. Another flag, incomplete. Kimball Anders coming across the middle.
And that one looks to be a holding penalty. They tackled the big guy inside Sam Adams, and it almost looked like a wrestling takedown.
The difference between the two teams, Seattle, Dennis Erickson told us that the team had been making mistakes in practice throughout the week, and they were showing up on Sunday. Marty Schottenheimer said, we're not making the mistakes in practice. The work ethic has been there, but on Sundays, they just can't seem to put it together.
And that's got to be driving Marty Schottenheimer crazy, and it is. And hey, they've got a formula here. Marty Schottenheimer wins games. He doesn't lose games. 98 games won in his tenure here at Kansas City. Gets to the playoffs all the time. He's got a formula, and he believes it's correct.
There are multiple fouls on the play. Illegal formation. Number 66 was not up in the line of scrimmage. That penalty is declined. We have illegal use of the hands on the offense. Hands to the face. That penalty is declined. We have illegal chop block. Personal foul chop block.
That one's accepted.
Number 61. That penalty is accepted. 15-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
Bill Carollo taking one deep breath to spit out all the infractions. Tim Grunhard, the center.
And on that one, he didn't need a piece of paper. He needed a scroll to get all those things out of there. I mean, they just committed infraction after infraction. That's a three-bagger. Marty's got to be real upset by that. Usually, it's bad if you get one, and it's even worse if you get two. But if you get a three-bagger, that's got to drive you crazy. And Jimmy Ray, the offensive coordinator, saying, what can I do? I'm putting these guys in position to win, but they're just not executing. Watch the middle. There's Grunhard right there. He's under the center snap. They're going to stand up Sam Adams right here, right there. He's engaged with Will Shields. You cannot clip. That is a clip right there. You can't do that when he's engaged. That's a chop block, and that's illegal.
Second down and 33. Ninth penalty that matches their amount of first downs. Joe Horn making his first catch of the day. Sean Springs rode him out of bounds. For Horn, his 9th reception of the season. And the Chiefs still have a long way to go to make up the yardage.
And they've got to take a shot downfield to get a big chunk of this yardage, or at least get them in contention and position for a field goal. But, you know, it's very frustrating for Jimmy Ray, the offensive coordinator. What can he do? He puts the team in position to win. They execute, but then they don't capitalize on situations, and they make stupid penalties. It's got to be very frustrating by an offensive coordinator. He's putting them where they need to be, but they're just making ridiculous penalties that's costing the offense.
3rd and 31. Fans getting vocal. Quick count. Gerback, good protection. Throwing and complete. Derek Alexander. Short of a first down, but the 20-yard pass play putting Kansas City into field goal range. Willie Williams with the coverage.
And that's a big play by the offensive line. Derek Alexander on the outside, but this play boils down to offensive line protection. Seattle blitz, they picked it up. Look at the route by Alexander. He's open. The only reason why he's open on that deep route is because Elvis Gerbic got time to throw the ball. The offensive line, they were magnificent picking up the blitz and giving him that time to complete it to Alexander.
Third catch on the drive for Alexander, good for 49 yards. Stoyanovich has accounted for all of Kansas City's points so far. This is a 43-yard attempt. No good. Missed it to the left. Sigh of relief from head coach Dennis Erickson. Can't say the same, though, for Marty Schottenheimer. His offense comes up empty.
And he gets good protection by the guys up front. Nice snap by Ralph Tam, the snapper. It's a good hold. The kick is down. He just pushes it to the left. Now that should be money for Pete Stoyanovich. Those are kicks he makes in his backyard. Marty Schottenheimer's not pleased with it. What can we do? We've got to turn this thing around. It's got to be frustrating for him. He's done everything he can to put his team in the right position. But Dennis Erickson, hey, it's out of here. No good.
You know, Mark, it's interesting. Erickson is not a guy who shows a lot of emotions on the sidelines week after week, but you can sense how pivotal this game is, not only for the Seahawks as a franchise, but for Erickson as the head coach. Warren Moon throwing the deep ball on first down. Caught. Joey Galloway making the catch in double coverage. 45-yard hookup.
And that's going right after the juggler Warren Moon on first down. They'd expect a run, but the protection is there. He sits in the pocket. Watch Joey Galloway. Beats Hasty off the line of scrimmage. He outruns him. He's going to get late help by the safety right there, Jerome Woods. But that ball's just dropped in the breadbasket. Perfect protection. Warren Moon steps up. Look at this pass. Look at this reception. Is that on the money or what? Picture perfect between quarterback and wide receiver Joey Galloway.
Longest completion of the season for Warren Moon. 45 yards. Just over 3 minutes to play first half. Out of the shotgun. Moon looks, throws, end zone. Galloway got a hand on it. Incomplete.
And Warren would like to have that back, and so would Joey Galloway. He had the defender beat. That ball was about 2 inches away from being a touchdown, but you can't ask for anything more when you get your best receiver running a post pattern in the middle of the field. Look at this ball. It's right there. Just too far outside. 2 inches back, and Joey Galloway has it for a touchdown. But when you go for the throat, go to the middle of the field because you put pressure on the safeties.
With the offense sitting for a long period of time, with the Kansas City offense controlling the ball on the field, Seattle just comes out firing on those first two plays from scrimmage. Not so on that down, with Ricky Waters getting brought down for a loss of 1.
That puts so much pressure on the defense when you come out on first down and you spread the field and you go right at them. And it's very tough to defend, and they're putting a lot of pressure on this Kansas City defense. With the injury of All-Pro Dale Carter, they just don't have enough defensive backs to cover all these wide receivers. But I'll tell you what, those guys are fighting out there. Ricky Waters is upset on the sidelines because he wants the ball in his hands, and he should. He's had a pretty good afternoon.
Broussard now in the backfield on 3rd and 11 from the 22. Chiefs showing blitz. Moon able to get it off and complete. Blades the catch and forced out of bounds. Are they calling it incomplete though? Was he straddling that sideline? No catch.
I'll tell you what, Warren Moon was nailed on that play, but he had defenders fighting and breathing down his neck. You talk about guys laying it on the line and fighting and scratching to make plays. Warren Moon did on the last play, but then you look at the outside. Pritchard, he did the same thing on the reception attempt. But look at Warren Moon on the backside here, right there. Takes a shot right in the back, but he still gets that ball out there. And right there on the outside, Blades is going to fight for the reception. That's close. I guess he didn't have possession because his right foot, it looked like, was touching the line.
The runner went out of bounds at the 20-yard line.
So they will call it a catch.
It looked like it was.
But out of bounds at the 20 instead of the subsequent gain following the catch. So only a pickup of 2.
I'll tell you one thing, they can't continue to let Warren Moon take shots like that. That's about the 4th time he's been nailed this afternoon.
Peterson from 38 yards away. He connects. And the Seahawks extend their lead in the second quarter. We hit the 2-minute warning. 17-6, Seattle in front of Kansas City. Stay with us. Jim Nantz, Marcus Allen, Brent Jones, and George Seifert for all the scores and highlights. That's coming up on the NASDAQ Amex halftime report. 17-6, Seattle has the lead. A 45-yard pass play, Warren Moon to Joey Galloway, setting up a 38-yard field goal from Todd Peterson. Moon closing in on his 42nd birthday. Still going strong. We asked him how many more years can he be doing this. He left it open. He didn't think for that much longer, but you get the sense he still has at least another year, maybe even 2 left in him.
Oh, I think possibly 3 or 4, and then 1 or 2 as a backup. He stays in fantastic condition. He's still, there's quarterbacks in this league that are 10 years younger that wish they had the stats of Aaron Newman.
Joe Horn with a 14-yard return as he got it to the 19-yard line. Mike Kroll the tackle on special teams. And a 2-minute drill for Kansas City to work with. Not easy with the crowd noise here at the Kingdome. And you've talked about this, Mark, the fact that you have to make adjustments when you come into this kind of environment.
Absolutely. I played here in the past, and you can't hear the guy next to you screaming. I'm playing offensive tackle next to an offensive guard. If he turns to me and yells something, you can't hear him. It's so loud in here. So you have to go on the silent snap counts. You have to go on the go counts. And you want to get in shotgun formations when they are rushing in second and third and long.
Kansas City has 1 timeout to work with. Quick throw, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Smith. Into the end zone for the touchdown.
You talk about emotion. Look at Dennis Erickson. He hasn't shown that kind of emotion since he was back in college. Great job by Darren Smith on the outside, dropping back into the soft zone, reading quarterback Elvis Grbac, watching his eyes, and charging on the ball and coming down with the interception for the touchdown.
The Seahawks lead the NFL with 7 return touchdowns. That is their 5th touchdown that's come back via the interception.
And look at Dennis Erickson. He's proud of his bunch. He knows how big this game it is for him and the Seattle Seahawks. He's never been able to defeat Marty Schottenheimer. He's 0-7. That's a big play by the defense.
Smith sat out of last week's game with a sprained ankle. Playing today and scoring for the 2nd time this season. Peterson adds the point after. And the Seahawks in control first half.
Here.
Watch Darren Smith at the top left of your screen, reads the zone, drops back, breaks on the ball, makes a play on the ball. Hey, that's picture perfect play by an outside linebacker. He was in the middle there, but he plays outside, but read it perfectly. What a job. And here's Erickson. I mean, look at the excitement out of this. This guy wouldn't smile if you tickled him with a feather, but look at him on the sidelines. He's acting like a 16-year-old kid. He knows how big this game is for this franchise and himself, and he's letting his players know it.
He has been criticized locally, Dennis Erickson has, and I think that would go a long way in helping his image here in the Seattle area. I think fans want to see the emotion out of Dennis Erickson.
Well, football's a game of emotions. You've got to be emotional. You've got to show it to your players. Even Joe Gibbs with the Washington Redskins, once in a while he smiles.
But Erickson has that stoic demeanor. Certainly reason to celebrate thus far. Still a lot of football left. And Rich Ganon will come in to replace Elvis Grbac. 2 interceptions for Grbac. 12 of 18 throwing the football, 109 yards. And Ganon will take his place. We spoke with Elvis about the relationship between him and the backup quarterback. He said it's great. He said quite different than when he was a backup for Steve Young in San Francisco, where he really didn't get the support from Young. Right now, Rich Ganon is going to be given the opportunity to try to lead this team back. Ganon has had success this season. Ganon on the run. Complete. Kevin Lockett making the catch, 17 yards. Rich Ganon with a record of 3-1 this season. Elvis Grbac 1-3. Kansas City has taken its final timeout of the first half with 1:39 remaining in the second. Well, coming up, the NASDAQ Amex halftime report. Join Jim Nantz, Marcus Allen, Brent Jones, and George Seifert for all the scores and highlights. That's coming up on the NASDAQ Amex halftime report. Things getting a little bit tighter in the AFC West, with Oakland falling to Baltimore earlier today. So the Raiders now 6-3. The winner of this game will move to 5-4. And the loser will have a very difficult time of getting into one of those wild card spots because of what's happening in the AFC East.
We'll take a look at Elvis Gerbach's afternoon. It hasn't been very prosperous, but look at this is the key right there. Those 2 interceptions kill you, particularly when one's returned for a touchdown.
Sean Springs with an INT. Darren Smith the other. Ganon able to throw to Kimball Anders, chased out by Kerry Joseph, stops the clock with 1:34 to play. Second quarter.
Nine, as a player, I've been in this situation before when you've got a quarterback controversy in Washington. It was Doug Williams and Mark Rippon, and it was Theismann and Schrader and all that stuff. Well, the players just want the guy in there that can win games for you. You don't care who it is, as long as they can win games for you.
Flag comes down off the snap. Little shovel for Kimball Anders as he crosses into Seattle territory. We'll see if this one's called back. 7-yard gain. Well, nothing will surprise you in the year of the backup quarterback in the NFL. Penalty against Kansas City.
Number 69, offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
This half is not going to go on the Jeff Criswell highlight reel.
That's 3. And I think the NFL record's like 6 or 7. He could be approaching that for an offensive lineman, but all it is concentration. The cadence is a little bit different with quarterbacks in there, but Marty's not very happy about this because these are ridiculous penalties that you work on since you're a grade school kid. You shouldn't jump off sides for defense. You shouldn't move on offense because you know the snap count.
And again, flags. We might want to just keep that graphic up for you and update it as we go.
Well, guys will finger point down there because obviously if you made the infraction, you want to make sure that the official makes It's the second guy. It wasn't me, but.
Neutral zone infraction. Number 98, defense.
Sam Adams.
5-yard penalty. Second down.
And Sam Adams got the jump on that play. He says the offense moved. That's why he moved. And hey, if you're an offensive guy, if you see anything up there flinch, right there, you point to the defense. And he's saying that Will Shields did it. Hey, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. It's whoever gets that finger in there last usually probably wins.
Adams rotates in with Dan Saliamua, Pro Bowl alternate last season, now in his 5th year. So a 2nd and 2 for Ganon and the Chiefs. Ganon is brought down. Chad Brown came firing in. 4.5 sacks on the season for Brown.
And Chad Brown brought the whooping stick on this play. Just went to the outside over Jeff Criswell, got on his soft shoulder, and just used leverage. There he is. Watch him. He's going to make his move right there on Criswell. He's going to beat him to the outside. Watch the dip. Right there, he's going to dip and just beat him around the corner. And Jeff Criswell's got to use his hands, push him to the outside, do something.
3rd and 8. Underneath to Popson. Diving ahead. And it will be close. Willie Williams involved on the stop, and Popson didn't get it. AFC sack leaders, the Seattle Seahawks, with a couple today. One from Brown, the other from Michael Sinclair, and they lead the conference.
What's scary about that, they ain't over yet.
No.
I mean, they're leading the conference, and we're not even at halftime, and they're going to really fire it up after the Kansas City Chiefs because they're going to have to put the ball up in the second half.
They only had 42 all of last season, so they're on a great pace this year. Another flag down. Off the punt. They've recovered it. Joseph touched the football. A penalty on the play all the way back. Kerry Joseph was there, could not bring it in cleanly, and it looked like it grazed his fingertips. But the penalty appears to be on Kansas City.
That's Pete Rodriguez, a special teams coach. He looks a little disgusted. They've had problems with their punt returns last week.
Holding, number 54 on the kicking team. That penalty is declined.
There's some confusion here. The Seahawks feel it was against KC.
10-yard penalty, re-kick, 4th down.
And there it is.
The Seattle Seahawks dodged another bullet, and here's a situation where Marty Schottenheimer looks and says, we finally got an opportunity to make something happen before halftime and put some points on the board. Right here, Kerry Joseph, he touches the ball. If you're going to make a play for it, you get it. If you can't get it, get away from it. He touches it with his fingertips right there. It's a live ball. Kansas City recovers it. It's their ball.
And Mark, keep in mind, Dennis Erickson released Ronnie Harris this week because he fumbled a punt in the 4th quarter last week.
And Marty's upset. He's livid, and he should be, because they can't get anything going right. 11 penalties. Look at that. The team record's 14. We're not even at halftime. And they thought they rectified the situation during practice, but it's just getting worse and worse.
Aguiar will get another opportunity. Fair catch. Not taking any chances. Joseph brings it in after the 47-yard punt from Aguiar. Under a minute left, first half. The Kansas City Chiefs have defeated Seattle 7 straight games. The Seahawks, though, have looked like a different team here this afternoon. Both teams at 4-4 entering action. Seahawks just content taking a knee and allowing the clock to run out. There's a 1-second differential. Game clock to play clock, so it looks like they're going to have to run one more play.
I know one thing, Ryan, if they continue to play this way in the second half as they had in the first half, maybe the head coach, Dennis Erickson, ought to bribe Michael Sinclair to have a team meeting every week.
Final seconds and the end of the first half. Seattle leads Kansas City 24-6. Coming up, the NASDAQ Amex halftime report. Join Jim Nantz and the rest of the crew back in New York. That's all coming up after a word from your local station.
The richest man in the world is playing war games.
What sticks out in my mind, if you've got to look at the turnovers, one, both teams have turned the ball over, Kansas City twice, but the penalties, look at Kansas City, 11 penalties for 97 yards, only 3 penalties, Ian, off their team record at 14.
Seattle at 4-4, Kansas City at 4-4. 7 straight wins for Marty Schottenheimer over the Seahawks. He has never lost to Dennis Erickson. Amon Green waiting from the 8. And Green is upended at the 27. And a flag down. What else is new?
Big surprise. This is one of those games that you hate to do, and you hate to play in because you can never get a groove going and regroup yourself to get something going offensively or defensively for Kansas City, because every other play is a penalty.
Chiefs with 11 penalties in that first half. Seattle with 4.
Offsides on the kicking team, number 44. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
And the beat goes on. Eric Warfield called. He's a rookie out of Nebraska.
And I can guarantee you one thing, Marty Schottenheimer addressed his team at halftime about the penalties. That's what's killing us. Turnovers and penalties. Now it's 102 yards in penalties for the Kansas City Chiefs, 12 penalties. And that's really got to fry him on the sideline, saying, I just discussed this with the team. First play we come out of the box, we get another penalty. That's a special teams coach on the sidelines, Mike Stock, discussing the situation. But, hey, you've got to eliminate the penalties. It's easier said than done, but it's something that you practice during the week. It's something you concentrate on, and I guarantee they just went over it. I just said that at halftime. How can you come out the second half and commit one right off the bat?
So Stoyanovich will re-kick, this time from the 25. This is Green from the 15. Amon Green ahead to the 35-yard line. Danon Hughes making the tackle for Kansas City. 19-yard return, pretty good field position to start out on their first drive of the second half.
It'll be interesting to see what offensive coordinator Bob Burkowski comes out in the second half, if they're going to spread them out with 3 wides like they did the first half, or they're going to come in with the 2 tight ends and start pounding them with the 2 tight ends, or the 2 backs with Ricky Waters. It looks like they're only going with the 1 back, but they're spreading the offense out again. 3 wide receivers and Ricky Waters.
9-time Pro Bowler Warren Moore. His team in front 24-6. Pitch to Waters. Getting to the outside, and Ricky Waters with a 7-yard burst. First half numbers for Warren Moon. 6 of 11, 77 yards. Did have the one interception by James Hasty. But the Seahawks were opportunistic in that first half.
They definitely were. They took advantage of every situation possible. And I think the big turning point in the first half was the interception return by Darren Smith. That really got everybody, including head coach Dennis Erickson, fired up.
Second and a long one as Seattle comes out with a 3 wide receiver look. Waters getting the call up the middle. And we'll see 3rd and short. Donnie Edwards the tackle.
And Donnie Edwards was in there, but the nose tackle, Don Bart, what a push Tom Bart got on the center, Chris Gray. I mean, he just forced the issue, took him into the backfield, and penetration kills a running play, but Donnie Edwards and the nose tackle Bart, they were upfield on that play.
Bart is a converted offensive lineman, a man that was able to make the transition. So many offensive linemen unable. Flagged out. Warren Moon moving ahead. First down yardage, but we'll see what the marker is.
We're going to get back to that Bart story by the end of the day, I'll tell you what.
I figured I'd slip it in there just before the snap so I could get no reaction from you.
Marty Schottenheimer on the sideline saying, please don't let it be on us, but this one's against the Seahawks.
Holding, number 62, offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
At this point in time, any little battle or any victory that he can get, he'll take. And we just talked about the penetration by nose tackle Tom Barnes, and there's the center right there, Chris Gray. He was charged with a holding infraction on Barnes.
Gray stepping in for Kevin Glover, who's out with the injured back.
Right here, there's Barnes penetrating in the gap right there. Kendall's got him, but Chris Gray, the center, has to keep going. Right there, there's no reason to turn your shoulders and hold. Go to the next level.
Timeout, Seattle.
Seahawks take a timeout with 13:25 to play in the 3rd. They'll face a 3rd and long when we come back to the Kingdome after this.
All right, captains, we're going to have a coin toss now. If there's a team, we'll call it in the air. We want a good, clean game. We're all professionals here. Does anyone have change for $1?
What? Want to get away? Now you can with Southwest Airlines Friends Fly Free. Just buy a round-trip full-fare ticket and a friend flies free.
You are now free to move about the country.
The Mitsubishi Montero Sport. Rugged styling, 3-liter V6, well equipped at $24,950.
I haven't even started my shopping.
Who's ready for dessert? I can't eat another bite.
I'm always ready.
These are the days. Fetzer days. Enjoy the wine.
When you abuse your engine the way taxi drivers do, you need all the protection you can get. That's why New York's Broadway Taxi Company uses Castrol GTX. Castrol GTX. Drive hard.
Ted Danson's a doctor with attitude in the best new comedy of the year.
I'm here to save your life, you big meatball.
And all new Becker on CBS Outtake Monday.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
4th year of a 5-year deal for Dennis Erickson, trying to get his team over the 500 mark. Seahawks facing a 3rd and 10 from the 35. Moon will operate out of the shotgun. Chiefs crowding the line of scrimmage. Moon stepping up and throwing. Deflected and picked off. Anthony Davis. And the bounce working in Kansas City's favor.
Good job by Anthony Davis of concentrating on the ball. Warren Moon gets a shotgun snap, gets great protection. Watch the rush come from the outside. He'll step up in the pocket, complete the ball or not complete the ball, throw it downfield to Brian Blades, and the ball hits him right in the chest. Bounces up in the air, and Johnny on the spot. Great play and concentration by Anthony Davis coming down with the interception. Here's another look. Look at Warren. Gets great protection. The ball's right where it has to be in Brian Blades' hands. Goes to his hands, hits him right in the chest.
Robert Williams was in on the coverage. For Davis, it would have been his second interception of the day, but one was called back after pass interference on Hasty. Rich Ganon comes out throwing on first down to Tony Gonzalez, who stumbles out of bounds. So the Kansas City Chiefs trailing 24-6. They come up with a turnover. Second interception of the season for Davis, who had one last week against the Jets.
And they've got to come up with some points out of this turnover to get them back in the game. They come up with a big play in the second half by the defense, get good field position. Now the offense has to move the ball to get first downs and get points out of this situation to get this team back in the game. And this is a very important drive for this Kansas City offense.
Have some injuries to update you on. We'll do that in a moment. Bam Morris is wrapped up. Kansas City having a tough time moving the football. Right now, let's go to New York. NFL Today reporter Jim Nantz.
All right, Ian and Mark, let's get you caught up now on the Jets-Buffalo game. Early third quarter, Vinny Testaverde going long again, and he hooks up with Ward for the touchdown. And the Jets now up 20-9. But the Bills are driving. Back to you.
Well, for the Jets, Vinny Testaverde, who started the season as the backup, now the obvious starter. Rich Ganon trying to work his way into that role for KC. He has replaced Elvis Gerbeck. On the handoff, short of the 40-yard line, Kimball Anders, and short of a first down.
Nice tackle by Chad Brown. He fends off Will Shields. Will Shields has to block Chad Brown. He's the biggest guy in the hole. Don't turn it up. You see a blue jersey to block him. He needs to block him, and he didn't. And Chad Brown makes the play. Here's Will Shields. He stumbles out. But right there, look at Chad Brown. He doesn't block him. He throws the form out there because he thinks he's going to get hit. Smart play on the defense. Chad Brown, the linebacker, plays it, turns it inside, and makes the tackle.
Chiefs are going for it. They are 1 of 1 today on fourth down. This is a 4th and 3, a 2 tight end set. Big play here in the third quarter. Ganon scrambling. On the run. Ganon the pump fake. And wrapped up. Chad Brown. Second sack of the day.
And that entire sack was caused by Michael Sinclair, the defensive end that leads the AFC in sacks. He's at the top of the screen right here. Watch his hustle. He will be relentless, and he said he would be relentless in this game. Goes upfield, comes back underneath, chases Ganon around. Ganon makes a move on him. He stumbles. He goes after him. There's Chad Brown. Smart play by Chad Brown coming up to force the issue, but it was all caused by defensive end Michael Sinclair.
Big loss on the play, giving Seattle great field position at the 50 when we come back.
The all-new Mitsubishi Galant. Totally new styling, nicely equipped at $17,990.
Turn the pizza around! It's stuffed crust, you eat it backwards! Hey. Carry on!
In case you forgot, you're supposed to eat stuffed crust backwards. With a ring of cheese baked right into the crust, it's the most fun you can have with the pizza. Right now, a large one topping is only $9.99. Pizza Hut, the best pizzas under one roof.
Would you like to work here?
I'm not housebroken.
Temple City, over 40 basketball. It's fantastic.
Here's the 90s way to trim a beard. The 1890s. Today, there's the new Norelco Beard and Mustache Trimmer. With 9 adjustable settings, Norelco gives you the look you want. Norelco, put it to the test.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. Mitsubishi, the all-new 1999 Galant, and by Pizza Hut, home of the stuffed crust pizza, the most fun you can have with a pizza.
24-6, Seattle has the lead. Chad Brown the sack on fourth down, and that gives the Seahawks the football. Some injuries for Kansas City defensively. Leslie O'Neal, a sprained toe. His return is questionable right now. Some others will update you on momentarily. On first down, Ricky Waters turning it upfield and diving ahead to the 43-yard line. Pickup of 7. John Browning the stop. There's O'Neal. He's being carted off.
The sprained toe, that's probably going to equate to turf toe. And I'd be surprised if Leslie O'Neal comes back in this game, but he's the guy that's instrumental in this defense. They need Leslie O'Neal. He picked up the pace. He came in for Derek Thomas when he was hurt. He came in for Chester McLaughlin when he was hurt. When John Browning was hurt, he was the guy that moved all over the place to help this defense. They need Leslie O'Neal.
Waters trying to sidestep as a flag comes down. He was able to get to the 45. That would be a loss of 1 on the play. Derek Thomas the tackle. But a penalty on Seattle.
Holding on the Seattle offense, and this is one of those situations where it's finally
holding,
not on the Kansas City
number
defense.
66 offense, 10-yard penalty, replay second down.
Tell you what, we might have to get Bill Carollo, the referee, a lozenge. He's been doing a lot of talking. Penalties galore. 12 on Kansas City and 5 on Seattle. Pete Kendall called for the hold.
In this situation, a lot of times, when you've got to have it in a big game like this, hey, Katie bar the door, throw everything out the window. You do what you have to do to win. I think the coaches know that on the sideline. Some of the ones are ridiculous on Kansas City, but I think Dennis Erickson realized you get a holding here, a holding there, you're protecting your quarterback, and you do what you have to do to win.
3 receivers and more flags. Man, oh man.
Now that one, I don't think he's going to be happy.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 66 offense, 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Never want to fall victim to the back-to-backer.
No, the 2-bagger is pretty bad, and I'll tell you what, that one's one that's ridiculous. You don't need to move. You know the snap count. See Dennis Erickson, he's upset at that one, but the first one, you're in there battling. Those things happen. But when you're out there on the line of scrimmage, you know the snap count. You know when the ball's snapped. You know where you're supposed to go. There's no reason for that.
Some of the other injuries, Darren Smith, linebacker for Seattle, left hamstring. His return is questionable. He had that touchdown return off the interception earlier. Kansas City was prepared. Chester McLaughlin.
Wow, he was shot out of a cannon. Talk about knowing the snap count. We're going to take another look at this. Chester McLaughlin's on the line of scrimmage. He's off when the ball snapped. Watch right there. I mean, he moves when the ball moves. Splits right there between the tackle and the guard, and he's in the backfield. Warren Moon does not get a chance on this play. That's a big-time play by McLaughlin.
First sack of the season for the 4-time Pro Bowler who was acquired via free agency during the offseason. Defensive coordinator Gunther Cunningham coached him in Oakland for 4 years and has high regard for his play on the defensive line. 3rd and 23, deep drop. Little dump off for Broussard. Very creative after making catches as he is gang tackled near the sideline in some extracurricular activities between Wayne Simmons and Christian Fourier. More flags.
Big surprise. And I'll tell you what, on this play, there's great linebacking play. Linebackers are getting cut down, knocked around. They get up off the ground and still make the tackle. Well, I guess this one has to be against Kansas City because the reaction of head coach Marty Schottenheimer, not a happy camper.
There's no foul in the play.
And that even makes it more frustrating for both coaches because why do you throw the flag if there's no foul? And Marty wants an explanation. I don't blame him. You don't take that hanky out of your pocket unless you know what's happened on the play.
Maybe the officials are just kind of getting used to throwing the flag.
Maybe it's like a knee-jerk reaction. Is that what you're saying?
I am saying that, but Schottenheimer may have talked his way out of that penalty. Kevin Lockett, the return man. Punt from Jeff Feagles. High punt. Ends up in the end zone. Chiefs will have it from the 20 following the 57-yard punt. But Kansas City is in a hole. Coming up tonight on CBS, Cicely Tyson, Blair Underwood, Queen Latifah, and Mario Van Peebles star in the story that picks up where Roots left off. CBS proudly presents Alex Haley's Mama Flores Family on the CBS Sunday Movie tonight. First down, Ganon will throw. Andre Rison the catch. Spilled out at the 26-yard line. Anthony Simmons, who's come in for Darren Smith, making the stop. 8-yard gain.
And they need a big spark out of someone out of the offense, whether it be Andre Rison or Derek Alexander. They need a big play, and they haven't had any in this game. And Rich Gannon's got to probably move the pocket and roll out of there left and right. He's fleet of foot, and he can move the pocket. He's a great runner.
So far, Ganon 5 of 5 throwing the ball, 42 yards. Alexander, the motion man. On the reverse, Rison. First down and then some. Forced out of bounds. So the Chiefs using a little chicanery for the 11-yard pickup. Rich Gannon right now is the people's choice in Kansas City, Mark.
He definitely is, but here you're going to see on this reverse, watch Sean Springs. He's going to fend off a block to the top up there out an offensive lineman, Will Shields, and still make the play. I mean, this guy's in his second season, and I think he's going to the Pro Bowl. We've had him twice this year. He's played at that Pro Bowl level.
Elvis Gerback watching from the sidelines with the baseball cap on. Rich Gannon has replaced him. Sheehy fumbles the football. Seahawks recover. Willie Williams. Jay Bellamy got in on the play to force the fumble, and Rashawn Sheehy filling in for the injured Donnell Bennett out with a left shoulder contusion.
And in this situation, you've got a rookie in there running the ball. That's why I said I like Bam Morris in this situation, because he's done it 10,000 times in the NFL and practicing in games. But right there, he's stripped of the ball at the end of the play. And here's a situation where Kansas City's defense, their backs are against the wall again.
Hard to believe that this is the team that went 13-3 in 1997. Willie Williams with the fumble recovery. Chiefs have lost 3 in a row. Moon throws the deep ball. Incomplete. Galloway there in double coverage. James Hasty, the corner, in on the play.
That's Warren Moon going for all the cookies in the cookie jar, and he's thrown into double coverage. Nice protection up front, allows Warren to step in the pocket right there and throw deep, but Galloway's double covered. This is really what you call forcing the issue, trying to make the big play. There's Galloway, there's 2 Kansas City jerseys, James Hasty and Jerome Woods. They've been trailing Galloway the entire afternoon.
Galloway has just the 1 catch today for 45 yards. James McKnight has checked in for the first time for Seattle. Moon stumbles a bit, able to get it off for Mike Pritchard. Walking the tightrope on the sideline, and a first down for Seattle.
And they're not pulling any punches. It's a wide open game plan, and Warren Moon got stepped on that play, and he made a little jump pass out of that play, made something happen out of nothing. He's out there tying his shoe, but when you look at the offensive coordinator, Bob Burkowski here, he's not leaving anything on the field. They're going after it right there. Gets his foot stepped on by Pete Kendall. Slides back. Watch this. Out of his shoe. That could be the play of the game.
That was not in the playbook. You see the play selection. They'll tack one more run on the board. Ricky Waters cutting back to the 33-yard line. Nice block by Pete Kendall.
And they're doing a nice job of getting Ricky Waters to the outside, pounding him in between the tackles. Here's a pitch. Warren Moon gets plastered on this play by Chester McLaughlin again. Warren's going to take the snap. He's going to pitch it out to Ricky Waters. But look at McLaughlin, fights through 2 and nails Warren Moon. But look at Ricky Waters' high step. Plants and cuts it upfield, finds the crease, and heads downfield with the football.
This is the 5th straight game against an AFC West opponent for the Seahawks. Ricky Waters, 14 carries, 52 yards. Trying to add to it here. Flag on the play. Waters sidestepping his way. Just shy of the 20. 11-yard gain. Looks like this one's coming back.
That's coming back, Ian. It's going to be the center, Keith Gray. He clipped Tom Bart. Tom Bart beat him across his face and just reached out, clipped the back of his legs, and grabbed him. And it's going to be a penalty on the offense.
Number 62, offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
It is the center, Gray.
The thing is about not cheating and not trying, that doesn't bother me, but you've got to at least hide that a little bit. He just came from left field with his arm and went to the back of his legs. And, you know, first of all, you can't get beat across your face by the nose tackle. He's right in front of you. And the play's a pitch play. It's going outside. But, you know, that's a young center in the league. It's his 6th year, but he hadn't played that much. This is his first start or first plays at center since the last preseason game. So he's got to get back in a groove with the offensive line. But, hey, those penalties right there, you can't commit those penalties. They cost your offense.
Fourth penalty called on Seattle in this quarter, 8 overall. 3 receivers on a 2nd and 15 from the 43. Movement. Howard Ballard jumped a bit, the right tackle. We'll see if he's the guilty party. He was pleading his case.
That's big Howard Ballard. They call him the house. I'll tell you what, he's as big as a house. Played very well throughout his career. Used to be with the Buffalo Bills.
Snap, false start, number 75, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
There's big Howard right there. He's the judge in their kangaroo court. When guys commit penalties in practice and games, he has the last say. He's the judge for the team. So I wonder how he's going to find himself in this situation. It's going to be one of those things where we're not going to talk about this one, but everybody has to pay a fine. It's like a $5 fine for every penalty you commit.
Would you question him?
No.
Not in your current state.
No, I'd have to dig deep in my current state.
6'6", 325, 34 years old. Now a 2nd and 20 from the 48, and Moon is brought down. Back into Seattle territory. Robert Williams on a corner blitz.
And Warren never had a shot. They had an ET stunt in the middle. Look at the stunt in the middle, but they come outside with Donnie Edwards. Look at the outside. No one blocks the 2 guys on the outside. Edwards just loops around, goes unscathed to the outside, but Warren Moon never had a chance. Came from his blind side, thought he had protection, and that's a smart blitz. Gunther Cunningham, that was a big play by the defense to come up with plays like that to go after Warren Moon's backside.
Probably split up the sack there. 1 half for Edwards, 1 half for Williams. And now a 3rd and 27. It's been a strange third quarter. Over the middle, Fourier. Brought down at the 41 by Anthony Davis. 14 yards on the pass play.
Anthony Davis has had a big game. He's excited on the field. He's been making plays all over the entire field throughout the game. But when you look at this play, Warren Moon just wants to try to get as much yards as he can because it's 3rd and a 1/3 of the football field. Just dump it off and get some positive yards.
And give the Kansas City defense some credit after the Sheehy fumble. Block! The punt is blocked. Flags on the play.
Greg Favors came through with a block.
Tony Richardson with a recovery.
And that was a nice block by Favors. Came through, put his hand where the kicker was going to punt the ball. Nice job by Favors.
Let's not forget about the marker.
Number 40 on the kicking team. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, 1st down, Kansas City.
So a fumble followed up by a block punt. Greg Favors giving Kansas City strong field position in the 3rd. Seahawks have the lead. Kansas City has the football. A 1st and 10 from the 39. Lockett in motion. Rich Ganon in for Elvis Gerback. Lost the football, scooped it up. And a loss on the play. Let's go back to the block punt, the 7th time that Fiegels has had a punt block.
Watch Greg Favors right there. He's going to fight through 2 blockers to get to the punter, Jeff Fiegels. And Jeff Fiegels didn't have a chance to get this ball off. It's coming right in front of him. And, you know, you would think that a punter would have a chance to move from side to side. Here's what Fiegels sees. Right in front of him, he gets a low snap, and there's somebody right in his face. Doesn't have a chance to get that ball off.
2nd and 11. Ganon unloads. Incomplete. It hit Alexander on the hands as he was headed towards the sideline.
Just seems like nothing can go right for the Kansas City Chiefs. They get a guy open, they get the ball there, it bounces off his hands, it hits somebody in the chest, and you know it's a nice route by Derek Alexander. He pushes up the field, plants, runs a nice little 7 and out pattern. Look at the ball. Right there, hits him right in the hands.
Rich Ganon has a record of 8-2 since last season when he took over for Elvis Gerback. He has had success as a starter. Today coming in as a reliever for the ineffective Gerback. Ganon ineffective on that play. Philip Daniels had 2 sacks last week. His first of the day.
It appears one of his offensive linemen stepped on his foot, and he didn't have a chance to pull out from under it. Keep an eye on Rich Ganon, the quarterback, but watch 69 right there, Criswell, come to the inside, and look at his feet right there. Got his foot stepped down by number 93, Philip Daniels. Wasn't the offensive line, was the defensive lineman, and Rich Ganon never had a chance.
5th sack of the day for this Seattle defense. Aguiar the punt. Galloway. That's a take a bounce. And a Kansas City roll. All the way down to the 14-yard line. 55-yard punt from Louis Aguiar. 3:42 left in the third. It's 24-6. Seahawks. Seattle in front. Check out the official NFL website for updated scores and stats from every NFL stadium. Plus, log on Monday morning for Week 10 highlights and recaps at www.nfl.com. 1st and 10 for the Seahawks from the 15-yard line. Lester Crumpler in motion. On the pitch, Ricky Waters spinning his way to the line of scrimmage. Chester McLaughlin making the tackle.
Nice job of penetrating and getting upfield by Derek Thomas. And that's what you have to do on 1st down, is get penetration and get upfield and turn the back, not where he wants to go, but where you want him to go, where the pursuit of the defense is.
Though nothing has been stated publicly, there seems to be an understanding that if Dennis Erickson does not get his team into the playoffs, he probably won't have his job next season. A win over Kansas City is certainly a step in the right direction. Waters has a hole. Ricky Waters with a stiff arm. He lost the football at the end of the play. Flag comes down.
And there's a face mask right at the end of the play when Ricky Waters is going down, but an outstanding job by Walter Jones and Pete Kendall on the outside of getting Ricky Waters free.
Woods and Hasty were there defensively.
Personal foul, face mask, number 21 on the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic 1st down.
Jerome Woods, the free safety.
And that's just adding insult to injury. Watch Ricky Waters breaks through the line of scrimmage. Here's Jerome Woods, good straight arm by Waters, but he didn't get one. He got two. How do you get a face mask with that little hook thing he's got on his hand? See that little paw thing that's wrapped around his broken finger? I mean, that's pretty hard to do, to get called on a face mask on that thing. You can't even grab with that.
Tell you what, no penalty on the play, and it's Kansas City's football.
Absolutely, he lost the ball at the end of the play.
But instead, the Seahawks move down the field. Now with a 1st and 10 from their own 44. Moon, nowhere to go. Derek Thomas in pursuit.
Here's Ricky Waters, has the ball in the right hand to the outside, but right there, it just slips out at the end. That's a great play by Woods, except for the face mask. I mean, he had a hold of Ricky Waters, corralled him, and put him down, and that's a fumble.
And a great play by Hasty to keep his feet in bounds. Big loss on 1st down. Now facing a 2nd and long. Warren Moon coming back from the rib injury. He did start, played last week, 17 straight completions last week. Incomplete. Mike Pritchett, the intended receiver. Mark McMillan was there. Now for an NFL Today report, we go to New York and Jim Nantz.
Well, Ian, the quarterback battle of the former Heisman Trophy winners is being won today by Vinny Testaverde. His 3rd touchdown pass to a 3rd different receiver. This one, Cribette. And the Jets lead under 10 minutes to go back out to Seattle.
I'll tell you what, Ian, Vinny Testaverde's done an outstanding job of spreading the wealth with that offense. Gives it to Cribette, gives it to Johnson, dumps it off to Martin. He really spreads the ball around for that New York Jet offense.
He is undefeated as a starter. And the Jets will be taking on the Colts next week in Indianapolis. Moon to Brassard. Slipped up a bit. And forced to the sideline. Thomas combining. Donnie Edwards was there.
Derek Thomas, his name hasn't been called often, but here he's again. Pete Kendall fights through that. They dump the screen off. Look at the team speed. Look at the closing speed of Derek Thomas chasing the play down, getting in on the tackle. Here's a player that, he's been a great sack specialist throughout his career. Now he's regulated to third down, and he's not even a starter with the Kansas City Chiefs.
On fourth down. The punt, Lockett allows it to take a roll. Spinning inside the 15, down to the 11. A minute 13 left in the third, and Kansas City needs to get something going offensively. Tuesday on CBS, the Marines are accused of killing their own. Now Lieutenant Commander Harmon Rabb must find out if it's fact or a reporter out of control. An all-new Jag, Tuesday on CBS. Chiefs will have it 1st and 10 from their own 11-yard line. Not much offense here in the third quarter from either team. Ganon, 5 of 6, 42 yards. He replaced Elvis Gerbach at the end of the second quarter. Marty Schottenheimer told us yesterday that the future of this franchise is Elvis Gerbach. But in the short term, Kansas City looking to win some games and break this streak. 3 consecutive losses. Gerbach finds himself on the sideline, and Rich Ganon finds himself under center. 2 tight end set. Ganon throwing the home run ball to Derek Alexander, and it's broken up by Sean Springs.
Derek Alexander had a step on it. If that ball's thrown and lofted out there another 3 feet, that could be a touchdown, but Sean Springs is very lucky. Great coverage by Springs. Doesn't allow any separation on this play. Stays hand in hand with Derek Alexander. Watch him right here when he makes his break. But if this ball's thrown where it should be, he's got to step on him right here, but the ball's underthrown and he has to slow down to come back for it.
Kansas City with only 9 total yards of offense this quarter. 2nd and 10. There's the sound meter. Over 100 decibels. Ganon gunning one over the middle. Anthony Simmons helping to wrap up Alexander on the catch. And it quiets the crowd at least for a moment. Under a minute left in the third. 4 receptions, 59 yards for Alexander. And now Kansas City with a 3rd and 1.
They need to make something happen on this 3rd and 1. Instead of just going for the first down, they're going to be able to spread this defense out and have some openings in it. But they have to take advantage of the situation. They need points out of this drive. And if they don't get points in this drive, I don't think they have a chance in the fourth quarter unless they commit a lot of turnovers on the Seattle Seahawks side of the ball.
Play action. Ganon flushed out of the pocket, little flip. And Tony Gonzalez, enough for the first down. Chad Brown the stop. And a flag down.
And they did try to go deep with that ball instead of just rushing the ball for the first down. He looked downfield deep and no one was open, and there may be a reason for that.
Illegal contact, number 20 on the defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
And that was the reason.
Jay Bellamy, the strong safety. His first year as a full-time starter for the Seahawks.
There's Jay Bellamy right here. Keep an eye on him. You can't touch the wide receiver after 5 yards. He almost decapitates Derek Alexander, not even giving him a fair chance to go after his route.
Final play of the third. Hobson in motion. Play fake. Sideline route, nobody home. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. Seahawks 24, Chiefs 6. We'll return to Seattle after this message and a word from your local station. I'm in Seattle 24-6. Seahawks have the lead on the Chiefs as we start play in the fourth quarter. Marty Schottenheimer just looking for answers.
Not only answers, Ryan, he just wants his team to execute and perform and try to go through a drive without committing a ridiculous penalty.
Chiefs have won 6 straight games in domes. 6 of the last 7 here at the Kingdome. 7 in a row over Seattle overall. Ganon able to loop one ahead to Alexander. Wells and Sinclair collaborating on the tackle.
Michael Sinclair all over the field. Here he is going against right tackle, the rookie Victor Riley. Takes a step and drops off in coverage on their zone blitz. Here's a big defensive end going into coverage, making a tackle 10 yards downfield on a wide receiver.
Sinclair has become a consistent pass rusher for this Seattle team. Right up there over the last 2 years in sacks with big names like Bruce Smith, John Randall, Kevin Green. Play action. Ganon forced to roll. Throw it. Alexander came back for the football. Incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10.
And Chad Brown is visibly upset about this play because, one, he made a great play of getting to the quarterback, and two, he felt he was held on the play. And here's Dean Wells right there chasing him down, but just before that, Chad Brown made the penetration upfield, and Tony Gonzalez had him by the jersey and just threw him to the ground.
Rich Ganon showing some emotion. Such an important game for each team. Both clubs at 4-4.
One thing about Chad Brown, he called out his teammates, he called out his coaches, but he's performed today. He stood up and he's answered the questions.
Came over as a free agent last season. And the Chiefs calling a timeout. We'll step aside early in the 4th. Seattle with a lead.
Do you know me? Not yet. I'm starting my own business, and that's a little scary. For me, the card is my support system. I rely on it to build my office, fill my closets, buy business lunches, dinners, and when it all gets to be too much, I rely on it to bring me home. It's good to know there's someone there when you need them.
The difference is membership.
I remember when I took my driving test. Everyone was so sure I would pass. I was already a local racing champion, the pride of my village. Everything went perfectly, but just as I opened the door, at that moment, I realized what I had to do. Drive cars with no doors.
For great advice about digital technology, head for Circuit City. If you're looking for a DVD player, make sure you choose one with DivX. Only DivX enhanced DVD players play both DVD and DivX movie discs. DivX lets you watch DVD movies at home for about what it costs to rent, but you never have to return movies or pay late fees. Get this RCA DivX enhanced DVD player for just $399.99 and take home any 5 DivX movies free after rebate. Plug into DivX at Circuit City.
Blair Underwood, Queen Latifah, Della Reese, Mario Van Peebles, and Cicely Tyson in Alex Haley's Mama Flora's Family. CBS tonight.
Coming up tonight before Mama Flora's Family here on CBS. If you're a smoker and your sex life isn't all it could be or should be, tonight's 60 Minutes is one broadcast you can't afford to miss. Then it's Touched by an Angel, followed by a special CBS miniseries, Mama Flora's Family, tonight on CBS. Kansas City facing a 2nd and 10, and Rich Ganon just trying to make something happen.
And that's Michael Sinclair again, Ian, coming off the edge, beating the rookie Victor Riley. Almost gets another sack for the day, but that's just hustling to the football. Gets on his soft shoulder. Here he is on the outside. Watch him right here. He's going to get on his shoulder, slap the hand down, rip up right there, and turn the corner and put pressure on quarterback Rich Ganon.
Ganon able to get the pass off before Michael Sinclair was given credit for the sack.
He told us 2 days ago he was going to be relentless. He was absolutely right. And he hasn't stopped.
Chiefs take a timeout. Only 1 remaining with just over 14 minutes left here in the 4th. Seattle has the 24-6 advantage.
So your client is asking for 9 cup holders in the 7-passenger vehicle?
Backup beverages, Jack.
And your client wants a disappearing 3rd seat. What is this, a magic show?
You ever try taking one of those things out?
My client doesn't think we even need a 3rd seat.
Objection. My client sleeps back there.
The all-new, easy-to-use, something for everyone Honda Odyssey. It's one big happy minivan.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Regina Miller, you stink. You stink. She ain't got nothing. She ain't got nothing. That was luck. Shut up. That was luck. You shut up. St. Ignatius 8th grade girls basketball is fantastic. Regina, where's your game at?
Sit down.
Where's your game at?
Sit down.
Where's your game at?
Shut up.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new Honda Odyssey. It's one big happy minivan. Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. And by Nike.
A packed house here in Seattle today, witnessing a 24-6 game so far with 14-11 remaining in the fourth. Seahawks in front. Ganon on a 3rd and 10, stepping up in the pocket. Sidearms one, and it's incomplete. Chad Brown came in and just leveled Kimball Anders. Sinclair again applying pressure in the pocket.
And the reason why Rich Ganon had to drop that ball because there was great coverage downfield by the secondary. Sean Springs, Jay Bellamy, Darrell Williams, and Willie Williams. He had no one to throw to. Look at him. Patting the ball, there's no one to throw to. Drops it off and doesn't complete.
Kerry Joseph the return. Off the Louis Aguiar punt. As much action as we saw in the first half, we haven't had much here in the second half.
None at all.
24-6, Seattle with a lead. Let's go to New York right now. NFL Today reported Jim Nantz.
Well, Ian, the Jets actually took points off the board, erasing the John Hall field goal, accepting a penalty, and they get the touchdown. Just what they desired. Curtis Martin running it in, and the Jets running it up on the Bills. Back to you.
And Jim, the Jets making a statement in the very hotly contested AFC East. New England losing earlier today to Atlanta. Miami with a victory. So the Dolphins and Jets will be tied for first place once the day is done. Move. Incomplete. Joey Galloway and a flag down. Hasty and Woods combining on the coverage.
It's going to be a little push against the Kansas City defense against James Hasty. I'll tell you what, I just like to see a sequence go through.
Number 40 on the defense. Automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
I would just love to see a sequence of plays go through without a flag.
Won't happen, Mark.
That's incredible.
Keep wishing.
I mean, they're going to take Joey Galloway out of the equation, but James Hasty's not going to let him catch anything. He's going to be on him. He's going to push him and shove him and dog him every play. And right there, he had a little hold on him where Galloway couldn't pull away from him. But you see Jerome Woods in the picture. Every time Galloway goes out for a pass, he will have Jerome Woods at the end of the play, number 21.
Moon. To the flat. Waters tried the head and shoulder fake and did get some positive yardage out of the play. Anthony Davis there to help chase him out of bounds.
That was a sweet move by Ricky Waters. Talk about stopping out a dime and making something out of nothing. Waters comes out of the backfield, receives the ball, looks downfield. He's got two defenders in his face and just stops and makes a great move and turns it upfield for a positive.
Kansas City tying a dubious team mark today with 14 penalties, costing them 137 yards. 2nd and 8 on the pitch. And Waters is stacked up. Loss on the play, Wayne Simmons, first man to get there.
Wayne Simmons was the first guy to get there, but Donnie Edwards made the play go. Left guard Pete Kendall pulls to the outside, and Donnie Edwards fires through into the backfield and knocks Kendall in the backfield where the back has no chance to make a cut. And, you know, right at the end, Pete Simmons converges on the ball, Wayne Simmons for the tackle, but that play was all Donnie Edwards.
3rd and 9 from the 47. Still a lot of time remaining. The Kansas City offense yet to get in gear. Move. For Broussard. He's out of bounds, short of a first down. Derek Thomas helped chase him. And the Seahawks will punt on 4th down.
It just seems that neither team can get anything going in the second half. They can't get first downs, and they can't move the ball downfield, and they haven't scored.
Obviously, Dennis Erickson would love to see his team put some more points on the board and put the Chiefs away. But right now, you have to be content if you're Erickson, because the Seahawks defense has done the job, and the Kansas City offense has been out of sync. Flag down. Looking for the corner. Great punt. Jeff Fiegels put it where it had to be. Fred Thomas able to down it. We'll see what the marker is. A 43-yard punt by Fiegels, but this one is coming back.
Illegal formation. 6 men in the line of scrimmage. Number 87 was not on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
That's Carlester Crumpler.
Pete Rodriguez, special teams coach. He doesn't like mistakes. Pete's the type of guy, had him when I was playing for the Phoenix Cardinals, that you could be ahead 40 points and he would still get upset. Not that I'm saying that we were ahead by 40 over anybody when I played by the Phoenix Cardinals, but he's just that type of guy. He wants to win and he doesn't like mistakes.
25 combined penalties between these two teams. That's 12 shy of an NFL record, which was set back in 1951 by Cleveland and Chicago. There's still some time to get these two teams in the record books. Another good punt from Fiegels inside the 10-yard line. Fiegels duplicating his last punt. And Kansas City will be pinned deep to start this drive. 12:05 left. We're in the 4th here at the Kingdome, and it's 24-6 Seattle.
Woo! I actually got in.
You broke into personnel.
Yeah, these are salaries of every person in the company.
Look, this senior VP makes about half as much as this senior VP. I bet he doesn't know that.
Sure he does. I just emailed everybody in the company.
The Accord Coupe from Honda. How will it affect you? Where will the world's next great city be built? It could be Russia, China, Brazil, or maybe somewhere in between. Whatever it is, wherever it is, make something great. Stanley.
Monday, when the King of Queens goes back to night school.
Does this look like Batman?
Higher education.
Win it!
It's an all-time low.
Damn it, cracked corn. I hate this book.
It's a learning experience for the whole family.
I gotta use the jar.
Would you relax?
The King of Queens.
Excuse me for not having a prostate!
An all-new episode, part of CBS Outtake Monday.
Audrey Denson and Jarius Jackson ignite the Notre Dame Fighting Irish against Brian Broadwater and the Middies of Navy. Or it's a showdown of SEC powers when the Arkansas Razorbacks tangle with T. Martin and the Tennessee Vols, all next Saturday on NASDAQ Amex College Football here on CBS. Quick throw was knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Dean Wells getting a hand on it. And Rich Ganon now having his problems here in the second half.
Dean Wells comes with the blitz, and he's smart enough to know he's not going to get there, so he just jumps up and puts his hands up in the air, pulls us off that throwing lane for Rich Ganon.
4 straight incomplete passes for Ganon. Looking long and incomplete. Down the sideline, Sheehy, step for step. Sean Springs.
I'll tell you one thing, this Kansas City offense hasn't had a lot of success throwing at Sean Springs. Why do they keep picking on Sean Springs? He's been out there every play and defended each and every play well the entire afternoon.
After giving the team a bit of a spark when he came in initially, Rich Ganon has not done much of late. Seahawks now on their nickel defense. Ganon had time to make the connection to Alexander and came out of bounds right at the first down marker. New set of downs upcoming for Kansas City.
And that was a monster play for the Kansas City offense. It gets them out of the hole, first of all. Second of all, it gets them a first down. But Alexander, that's his 6th reception for 82 yards. He seems like he's the only guy that's catching the ball. Gets pushed at the line of scrimmage, comes back to his route, runs to the outside. Gannon smart enough to get the ball in his hands.
On 1st and 10. Sheehy with the reception. And brought down at the 24. A 5-yard pickup. Chad Brown making the tackle. Still enough time for Kansas City to come back in this game, but they just have not even shown you glimpses of what they're capable of doing offensively. 3 straight losses, looking to avoid their 4th in a row. Slings one over to Alexander on the sideline. And a first down for the Chiefs. Fred Thomas the coverage.
And no matter what happens, he keeps going back to the well to Alexander. Each time he needs a play, he goes to him. And they're going with their no-huddle offense when they complete a ball and it's in bounds, and they're not going to waste any more time off this clock. And I think it's a good move by Jimmy Ray. They've got to get something going, and they've got to do it in a hurry, and they need to save time doing it.
Chiefs only have 1 timeout remaining. They blew 2 early in this quarter. In the pocket. Little flip. Kimball Anders lost the football, but Parker was there to recover.
And guess who made the first hit on that play? Michael Sinclair. He said he was a man on a mission. We talked to him on Friday. He said, I'm going to be relentless the entire game. I'm going to go after it every single play, and he has. He's been all over both quarterbacks, 3 sacks today. Here he beats the tackle again. Victor Riley just throws him back to the quarterback, and right there nails quarterback Rich Gannon. I mean, he's been unstoppable the entire afternoon.
On a cross, Kimball Anders. And now Kansas City having some success on the offensive end, moving the football. 14-yard pass play, Gannon to Anders.
The Seahawk defense is playing soft. They're letting them have the underneath routes and letting them complete those. They're not going to give them anything cheap or anything deep, but they've got to make a stand. I don't like these prevent soft defenses. I like going after the quarterback. That's when they've had success this afternoon.
Seattle takes a timeout. Just 1 remaining for the Seahawks and 1 left for Kansas City. Bit of concern on the face of Dennis Erickson. His team was unable to put away this Kansas City club, and they had some chances here in the second half. We mentioned earlier this is the 4th year of a 5-year deal for Erickson. Now, he predated Paul Allen, the owner of the Seahawks. Erickson was here under Ken Behring, the former owner. That's Bob Whitsitt, the president, next to Paul Allen. Allen has not come out publicly, though, and mentioned anything about the future of Erickson.
Not at all, and I don't think that's his style. But did you see the picture of Paul Allen up there? And what did he have in front of him?
A computer.
Big surprise. How many people bring computers except journalists to a football game?
Paul Allen.
That's true. That's true. I'll give you that.
Obviously, most of our audience knows the background. Allen involved so many years with Microsoft, helping to found that company and get it up and running. And now he's hoping to bring a winner to Seattle. Flags down. Sheehy. He's got a first down and forced out of bounds. But this one could come back after the 13-yard gain off the pass from Gannon. That'll be the 15th penalty on Kansas City.
They just can't get anything going offensively, and when they finally get something going, they stub themselves in the foot, stub their toes by
illegal shift, 2-man moving and not resetting before the snap on the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Marty Schottenheimer has to feel it's like Murphy's Law. Whatever can go wrong today is going wrong for the Kansas City Chiefs.
They exuded confidence when we spoke with them yesterday, and a lot of that may have to do with their track record against Seattle. 7 consecutive wins over the Seahawks. but we have not seen that confidence on the football field today. Under 10 minutes left. 1st and 15. Sidearm delivery. Sheehy. Just short of a first down. Willie Williams combining with Chad Brown on the tackle. 13-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 2 from the 33. Quick count. Ganon stepping up, taking it himself, and diving ahead for the first down. Sam Adams able to get him from behind as Ganon was brought down at the 26.
Gannon's a very mobile quarterback. That's a smart play. He saw the first down marker, saw an opening by the defense where the defenders rushed upfield, took the ball down and rushed it for the first down, but they need points out of this drive. Here's a team that's not going to give up, but they need to get in the end zone.
On the handoff to Anders. Down across the 20 and tackled at the 19. Mike Kroll making the stop.
And as an ex-offensive lineman, I used to dread this situation. You're down by a couple of touchdowns. You're playing on the road. You can't hear your quarterback. They know that you have to throw the ball. You're in a 2-minute situation. You're huffing and puffing. You can barely get your win. And you've got defenders that are over there that are pinning their ears back because they know they get awards and they get recognition for sacks, and they know you're going to have to throw the football.
The noise level was quelled a bit. Now the fans making some noise again. Kimball Anders losing the football. He thought the play was whistled dead. Wasn't. Jay Bellamy was ready to pick it up and run down the field for the score. This play just was ugly from the start.
From the snap, it was ugly. And I don't think anyone knows what's going on. They're calling the play dead, but I don't think anyone heard a whistle.
Third down, they'll just repeat it. No flags on the play.
This is what Michael Sinclair lives for. Third down, trying to score in your territory down, pin your ears back, and just attack the quarterback. Don't worry about the run.
Call it a loss of 1 on the play. Very strange. Ganon deflected. Intercepted. Chad Brown. And that might just seal it.
Defensive coordinator Greg McMackin came with the blitz, put the pressure on quarterback Rich Ganon, but it's the big guys up front that get their hands up. There's Dean Wells getting pressure. You see the blitz right there. The little guy, Willie Williams, puts his hands up and blocks it for his ex-teammate, Chad Brown. They're both teammates with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Michael Sinclair, they double team him, but Willie Williams on the blitz, putting pressure on the quarterback, tips the ball up. Chad Brown, there's the interception, comes up with another big play for the defense.
Close call, by the way. Look at that replay. It may have hit the turf. But Chad Brown will be given credit for the interception. His first of the season. 7 tackles today for Brown, 2 sacks, and the INT. So now the Seahawks with a 24-6 lead. More than happy to keep it on the ground with Ricky Waters cutting back. Another look at the INT. Is this a clean pick? Has it underneath, scooped, and what do you think?
That's a close one. Looks like he had possession. It hit his chest and bounced and hit the turf. What do you say about Chad Brown? That's another big day. The sacks, interception, the tackle. He's been relentless also all over the field. And he was outspoken this past week, and he showed up and he played today.
Seahawks have played the second half without Darren Smith. Waters up the middle. Brought down by Robert Williams. Time for an NFL Today report. We go to New York and Jim Nantz.
Arizona and Washington come down to a last-second field goal. Nedney of the Cardinals, 48 yards out, connects. And Arizona's now 5-4. Will host Dallas next week. If they beat the Cowboys, they will share the lead in the NFC East. And now just a game back. Let's go back to Ian and Mark.
NFC East, not exactly a banner year for that division, but Arizona is hanging tough, Jim. And another game-winning field goal for Joe Nedney, the lefty kicker. 3rd and 1 and a double tight end set for Seattle. The pitch. Waters looking for an opening. And he's got the first down. Thomas and Bart combining on the stop. Kansas City, a team that won close games last year, a team that didn't make many mistakes a year ago, and the story this season and today, lots of errors, 15 penalties, 3 turnovers. They missed a field goal. 3rd down conversions, just brutal. No touchdowns. 1st and 10 from the 37. Waters, high stepping. Spinning his way to a 9-yard gain on 1st down. Reggie Tong, the strong safety, forced to come out of the secondary to make the tackle.
As a player, as an offensive lineman and an offensive player, you love this situation. It's move the chain time. Eat up the clock. Give it to the running back. Let him go between the tackles, get outside the tackles, pound the defense with the ball, smash mouth style of football. You got to love it. It's say, here, we're the men today. You come and try to take the ball from us because we're going to run it right at you. Come and stop us.
Despite the fact that the second half has been about as sloppy as you will find, the Seattle Seahawks have to be thrilled with the effort. Waters, 1st down. Edwards and Woods with a tackle. They knew the pressure coming into this game. Kansas City was feeling the same pressure. Dennis Erickson, maybe his job on the line, depending upon how they perform today. Certainly there will be question marks the rest of the way for Erickson, whether or not his team makes the playoffs. Schottenheimer, what can you say? He's been a winner his entire career, but he is just not getting it done right now with this version of the Kansas City Chiefs in '98.
And with the mistakes that are made, it's not Marty Schottenheimer. It's the players on the field not responding and not accepting their coaching.
Amon Green, the rookie from Nebraska, getting the call. John Browning, the tackle. Coming up next Sunday, divisional races are shaping up, and the NFL on CBS is there with a full slate of regional games. Some areas will see the Bengals take on the Vikings, the Dolphins battle the Panthers, or the Seahawks meet the Raiders. Check your local listings, and don't forget to begin your day with Jim Nantz, Marcus Allen, Brent Jones, George Seifert, and Bonnie Bernstein on the NFL Today right here on CBS. That's a nice shot. Nice shot of the gang back in New York. Amon Green. Brought down. Flag is thrown. Anthony Davis the stop, and the Seahawks light green as a little bit of a change of pace from Ricky Waters.
Penalty, replay 2nd down.
Pete Kendall, the left guard, called on the penalty.
And Pete Kendall's had one of those days. I think that's his 3rd or 4th infraction against him. That, you know, here's the situation of the game. You're moving the chains, eating up the clock. You're going to run the ball. There's no need to hold. But, you know, luckily they're ahead enough right now where this really doesn't hurt this offense of this team.
3rd-year pro out of Boston College, Kendall had to play center in a pinch last week.
First time since he was 9 years old, and did a pretty good job.
That's when Kevin Glover went down with the injury. Chris Gray was inactive with a concussion. Chiefs defense knows what's coming, but it doesn't really matter. Seattle very effective now running the football. That was Ricky Waters. And now time is just ticking down.
And Seattle has won the battle of wills right now. This is a situation where the defense is sitting there and they're saying, well, let's get out of here. The game's over. But the Seattle team, they've won the battle in the trenches, and they've really broken the will of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Ricky Waters has gone over the 100-yard mark, 23 carries, 108 yards. First time he's done that since week 3. Well, why not? We've seen everything else.
That's just Chester McLaughlin frustrated at this point of the game. And, you know, defensive linemen do that when you're blowing them out because the frustration wells up.
Prior to the snap, encroachment, number 75, defense. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
And the defense can't stop the offense. So, you know, here's Chester. No one moved. And watch him just fire off the ball and just take a shot. That's unnecessary. That's really unnecessary.
A new team record, 16 penalties called on the Kansas City Chiefs. costing them 147 yards. And now the questions in Kansas City this week that will be posed to Marty Schottenheimer. Did Rich Ganon do enough to earn the starting job next week against John Elway and the Denver Broncos if Elway is healthy? And I would probably say no at this point. I think Gerbach will get the nod.
Well, I really don't think it's a good thing to win the starting quarterback because you're going against the Denver Broncos the way they're playing at this point of the season.
We'll talk more about it when we come back. 2-minute warning here in Seattle. 24-6 Seahawks. The Seahawks leading Kansas City 24-6. The 2-minute warning here in the fourth quarter. Dennis Erickson's club rising to the occasion today. Looking to improve to 5-4 on the year. They'll punt it away with Jeff Fiegels. A directional punt, and he puts it inside the 15-yard line. KC will have the football at the 13 when we return to the Kingdome after these words. 24-6 is our score. How important is this game? Well, in the 90s, the team that has a 5-4 record has success in getting to the postseason. Teams at 4-5, only 5 have qualified for the playoffs. The winner will move to 5-4. Ganon eluding the rush and dumping it off for Kimball Anders. Across the 30-yard line, Michael Sinclair involved in the stop after the 19-yard pickup. And those numbers don't lie. You have a much better chance of getting to the postseason.
Absolutely. Both coaches knew that coming into this game, how big this game was to get the victory, to get the 5-4.
Safety valve is Popson. And able to get out of bounds. Deshaun Miles with a tackle. Another NFL Today report. Jim Nantz in New York.
Ian Ty Detmer leads the 49ers back from 16 down. And then John Casey could have won it for Carolina. 58-yard kick on the game's final play, well short. And the 49ers now 7-2, sharing the NFC West lead with the Falcons. Back to you in Seattle.
No Steve Young today, so Ty Detmer gets the W.
The good teams always find a way to win.
And the bad teams, it works in reverse. And Carolina this season has been bad.
False start, number 66 offense. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Victor Riley, the rookie. And the 17th penalty called on KC.
And Victor Riley's had a tough afternoon. He shut out Michael Sinclair the first time they faced each other earlier this season, but that was in that game where it was a torrential downpour. It was a tsunami out there, and they had to call the game for 54 minutes. But here's a situation where Michael Sinclair's at home. He's playing to the crowd and the noise factor. He's on turf now, and he's got sure footing, and he's much quicker on the turf than he is on the grass.
Clock is stopped, 1:21 left. Ganon with a quick throw. Danon Hughes couldn't handle it. Incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 8. Darrell Williams in on the coverage. Ganon and Chad Brown having a conversation. And for Rich Ganon, this is not unfamiliar territory. He was a starter in Minnesota with a team that was headed to the playoffs when Dennis Green decided they needed a change of pace, and Ganon was benched. So he's felt it from both sides, being a backup, getting an opportunity, and being a starter who was forced to the sidelines.
So the great thing about Rich Ganon, he battles back, and now I'll bet you next week he gets an opportunity to start a few more games this season.
That slingshot delivery to Kimball Anders. And a first down. He's knocked out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Another flag on the play.
And this one could be roughing the passer against Rich Ganon. He took a shot at the end of the play.
Ganon had his bell rung.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 98. On the defense, 15-yard penalty from the end of the spot, out of bounds spot, first down.
And that's at the end of the play. And here's Sam Adams coming around the edge. He's lassoed by Labounty at the top, but Sam Adams did not have to put that shot on him. Matt Labounty already had his arms around him and, you know, had him going down. There's no reason to give him that shot at the end of the game like this.
We have had no scoring in the second half. Seattle led this game 24-6 at halftime. They were in control. Kansas City has not moved the football effectively in the second half of action. And just the final minute and change before this one is wrapped up. Ganon off the pump fake. Got himself some time. Throwing to the sideline to Kevin Lockett.
What a great job by Rich Gannon avoiding that rush. He had 2 blitzers on the outside. They're going after quarterback Rich Gannon, but a phenomenal job of reading the rush and running away from the blitz and getting to the outside and dumping that ball off. That was a great play by Rich Gannon.
A minute 4 left. And a 2nd and 9 for KC. So the Chiefs will lose their 4th consecutive game to drop to 4-5. Seattle wins after the disappointing loss last week to Oakland, 31-18, and the Seahawks improved to 5-4. Ganon unloads. And complete to Lockett. The Seahawks' last win over Kansas City back in November of 1994. It was a 10-9 victory over the Chiefs. Marty Schottenheimer undefeated up until today against Dennis Erickson. And that streak comes to an end.
One thing about a victory like this, and a hard-fought victory, and they played very well, the Seattle Seahawks this afternoon, is it brings the teams together. And it really has brought this team together. All it takes is one victory.
The most recent standings. Denver leading San Diego 27-10, so that one basically over. And the Broncos will move to 9-0. Pass was blocked down by Michael Sinclair. Under a minute remaining.
One thing about this defense, they're making a statement out there. Defensive coordinator Greg McMackin, they're going after Rich Gannon. They're not sitting back in soft zones. They're blitzing the quarterback on every down. They're blitzing with outside backers, inside backers, coming out of the secondary. They're not standing pat. They're going after the quarterback.
And this defense has done the job this season, allowing, on the average, just over 16 points per game, the 3rd lowest total in the NFL behind Miami and Dallas. Gannon stepping up and keeping it himself. Little shake and bake move. Rich Gannon brought down to the 6, and Kansas City will use its final timeout. Deshaun Miles and Philip Daniels finally bringing down Rich Gannon. Only 41 ticks of the clock left.
That was a great job by Rich Gannon. No one was open downfield, so he had to tuck it down and run with the football, but he made a lot more yardage just on his athletic ability. Here he is. He's got to look downfield, and it's a great job by the Seattle Seahawks secondary. Everyone's covered, so he pulls it down right here, makes his decision, and goes to the ball. Look, and he makes a move right there, makes another move right here to get positive yardage. That's a great run by a quarterback.
Seahawks had 5 turnovers in last week's loss to Oakland, only 2 today. That's part of the story. For Kansas City, Elvis Gerback pulled late in the second quarter in favor of Rich Gannon. What that means for next week, we don't know. One thing we do know, Rich Gannon was voted People Magazine's sexiest male athlete, should say Elvis Gerback.
And I really don't think that's going to help him on the football field.
No.
It didn't today.
Mark, unfortunately, you did not win the sexiest NFL analyst. That went to George Seifert.
I congratulate George. I guess I was first runner-up.
First runner-up. You missed by a couple of votes. I'm sorry.
I get to wear the crown if George does not fulfill his duties this year.
At the goal line, Hobson. Just short of the touchdown. Bellamy and Anthony Simmons, who's filling in for Darren Smith, combining on the tackle. Smith left with a hamstring injury.
They don't come with a blitz in this situation, and Gannon steps in the pocket and fires to his tight end, Hobson. Not enough for the touchdown, but this team is not giving up.
Plenty of time for Gannon. And he throws it out of the end zone.
Does he get like an extra bonus because he hit the NFL on CBS logo sign in the back of the end zone there? Does that count for at least a point?
Bullseye. Only 11 seconds left. Rich Ganon is 20 of 32 throwing the football, 177 yards, does have the 1 INT. Elvis Gerbach today, 12 of 18, 109 yards, 2 interceptions. Erickson shares a moment with Joey Galloway. Chiefs are trying to get a touchdown before they leave, and they do. Rich Ganon on the quarterback keeper. Only 3 seconds left.
And the only person more upset by this situation is probably defensive coordinator Greg McMakin. Here's a situation where you hadn't let us score a touchdown the entire afternoon and the whole ball game, and you don't want it to come down to this. And it's not like you're being greedy. It's a statement game. And the first time in 7 tries of beating the Kansas City Chiefs, they didn't want him to score on this. And I'm sure he's going to be upset. He's going to let his defense know on the sidelines. He's happy with the victory, but you've got to finish opponents off.
Chiefs will go for 2 for the first time this season. Trailing 24-16. Ganon. Spun down by Chad Brown.
That's 2 tired warriors right there. 2 guys that didn't give up and stayed with the whole game, and that'll put a smile on McMakin's face right at the end there. That big play by Chad Brown, and Chad Brown came with it all afternoon. He rushed the quarterback, was all over the field making tackles, had a big afternoon. He's the one out and made statements earlier this week after last week's game about the organization, about his teammates, about his coaches. But he came to play this week as he does each week that he comes to the football stadium. And that's just a situation that, he came to play. He fired and ignited a light in front of his teammates and got under his teammates, and they all responded.
24-12. Seattle in complete control with just 3 seconds left. Don't forget, 60 Minutes will be coming up immediately following our broadcast, except on the West Coast. If you're a smoker and your sex life isn't all it could be or should be, tonight's 60 Minutes is one broadcast you can't afford to miss. Then on CBS, it's Touched by an Angel, followed by a special CBS miniseries, Mama Flores Family. Cicely Tyson stars, along with Blair Underwood and Queen Latifah. That's all coming up tonight, right here on CBS. Ricky Waters cracking the 100-yard plateau for the first time since week 3. Some hugs for Dennis Erickson on the sidelines.
That's a little different from last week. They were kind of slinging arrows at one another, and this week it's all hugs and everyone's happy.
They try the onside kick as time runs out. The Seahawks have finally beaten the Chiefs. It took 4 years, but they get it done today. 24-12. The final score.